How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Memorial Day special episode of the TimcastIRL podcast. My name is Tim Pool. I am hanging out with my friends.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Adam here. How you doing? Thanks for coming. Appreciate you.
And me, producer Lydia. I'm here as well. Thank goodness.
We are hanging out while everyone else is out, I guess, barbecuing, boating, beaching, in defiance of the lockdown orders.
Good.
There's like
Those lawbreakers.
There's a viral video of the Lake of the Ozarks. Where is it? Like Missouri or something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's like everybody's just partying like normal.
Mhm.
You know what? Look, man, here's what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about a lot of things, but I had a friend go completely insane with social justice, lunacy, to the point where these people are overtly breaking the law. And I'm like, it's the weirdest dogma. It's religious insanity. It's funny because, you know, growing up, and I'm sure you guys have probably experienced this to different degrees or in different perspectives, you had the moral authority of the religious right. And now that's all kind of drifting away into some kind of like libertarian right. And it's being, now our society is like, if you're a funny, offensive, freedom-minded, edgy boy, and you want to make your silly little jokes and go about your business, you're right wing. But that was South Park. That was Family Guy. That was the left before.
That's true.
And now the left is dogmatic to like a religious degree, and it's freaky. And these are people that I knew, and it's like they've lost it. And you can't even talk to them anymore. It's the craziest thing to me is I remember when I was growing up trying to talk to somebody who was religious, and I went to Catholic school for, you know, the first 6 years of my, you know, grade school.
Okay.
So I could understand, I could talk about a lot of the stuff. And I was always rather, you know, pragmatic and calm, and we'd have good conversations, and I'd be like, oh, here's what I think. And then mostly when I got older, because when I was young, I was kind of a far lefty dick.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, I'm so smart, I'm smarter than you. And then I was like, you know.
So the left really hasn't changed much, huh?
No, but this was like anarcho, punk, skater.
I know, I'm just making a joke.
I was smarter, I was the best. But yeah, no, for sure, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But to see like, you know, I had this friend message me complete and utter garbage mangled nonsense.
Oh, man.
And trying to explain to them like why that was wrong was like talking to a diehard religious person that's, you know, 15 years ago. And I'm like, wow. It's like the way it's weird because there are still people who view the right the same exact way. Like they've always been. I'm like, that's just not the case, bro. Like we walked away. We left.
Yeah.
We're done with this, dude. That's what we're going to be talking about. And we're going to talk about how this is negatively impacting everything, how it's negatively impacting journalism. Pulitzer Center. Man, I'm thinking about actually launching my own award for journalism.
I love it.
And
I love this
dumping
idea.
mad cash behind it. I'm talking like insane money. Like, ugh. We'll see. So the Pulitzer Prize, I think, is 10 grand.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
10 times.
Well, I don't know how many awards they issue out for the Pulitzer Prize, but it's like a bunch.
Yeah, but you should just do one prize. The best.
No.
Best of the best.
I want to do a bunch.
Legitimate
This is
journalism.
why I'm like, dude, you know, it's like when I see these stories about people getting all this money,
Mhm.
super rich, I'm like, oh, there's so much you need to, like, there's people who should have that money. What I mean by that is, like, Joe Rogan, for instance, said that in the New York Times interview with Barry Weiss, he's like, it feels gross that he made all this money.
Okay.
And I'm like, bro, hook up some comics. You know, like, that's your thing.
Yeah.
Find some comedians, figure out a way to do comedy better online, whatever, and you can do that. I'm sure he will, right? I'm not acting like he's not going to do it.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I wish there were more successful journalists, political media personalities who are like, let me throw money behind this. The Pulitzer Center is supposed to be that. Anyway, I should save this, and before we get off, you know, on a tangent, we're going to be talking about a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to get into it. So,
Chat's saying it should be the Pulitzer Prize.
The Pulitzer?
Ooh, I
It's
like
pretty good.
that.
I see
No,
you,
I'll
Chat.
get sued.
Yeah.
I see you, Chat.
That sounds
I would
great.
get sued.
It's a different word.
We got some other stuff.
It's a
you know,
new word.
It's a great
We got some
word.
stuff
Come
about
on.
big tech or whatever. We're going to talk about Memorial Day. I think we got something about, we're going to talk about, like, soldiers dying and stuff.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about it. That's
In
what today's about. You
In
know?
a respectful, like, you know, looking at all the, Adam, you mentioned, like, a list of all of the, you know, casualties of war and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, man, so we'll talk about it. So if you haven't already, hop in that super chat, send us some Memorial Day messages. We love you guys. And hit the like button. Smash that like button.
Oh, yeah.
Share the video. Like, subscribe, whatever you're supposed to do on YouTube. And,
I'm going to go ahead and like it right now.
yeah, we're chilling. You know, it's Memorial Day. We don't got anything to do, I guess.
They can hear the hum of that. Can you turn that off?
Of the
Oh.
A? Of
Yeah,
the air?
AC.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
We'll turn it down.
That's amazing. You got good ears.
Yes,
All
I saw
right.
someone asking about it, and I'm like, I can hear it too. I think so. I'm gonna.
It's like at negative 40 dB.
well,
That's impressive.
someone heard it. They were
Yep.
like, "There's some hum. What is that hum about?"
Sharp ears.
Oh
Yep.
wow, it's a big
Yeah,
difference.
but we can hear it. But these are directional mics.
Oh okay.
You know.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I'm sure a lot of people heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is, man.
Well,
No,
I'd-
there's birds.
yeah,
now
no,
you
they-
can hear the birds.
Yeah.
Maybe. Can you guys hear the
These
birds?
birds are like chilling right on the roof. They're like
They're
looking,
really pretty.
They're looking in the window and they're going like, "Rah, rah." It's like
They're like, Tim's recording. Quick.
anywhere else. We have a robin in the backyard now. It's like a fat egg-filled lady robin,
Oh, dope.
and she stands on one of those garden things and just like yells all day. I'm like
does.
all day.
I haven't seen her.
You walk out and she's just like there, and she's like, "Rah," and you're like,
Beautiful.
she's not doing anything.
Like,
I
no,
don't-
no, no. I don't think I'm your type.
no,
Sorry.
but like, why doesn't
Literally
she move?
not your type. She's
Like, I
guarding
see her-
her nest.
Garden, is that what she's doing?
Yeah, so
And
her
she's
nest
yelling at
is
everybody?
like right under the
Dude,
porch.
She's yelling, "Come at me, bro."
Yeah, that's
Come at
exactly
me.
what she's doing.
There was
She's ready to fight.
there was like a hawk or something flying over, a big one,
Oh,
and
cool.
a bird attacking it.
Really?
Yeah, I went on the deck and I looked up and it was just like fluttering around and like chomping at it and pecking at it, and I was like,
Dive-bombing.
whoa. Hawk didn't care.
Well, the hawk
He
probably
just kept going.
went to attack the nest already,
Yep.
and the other
Aw.
bird was like,
Yeah.
and was
I wonder if
probably
it-
having an aerial battle.
Yeah, it was. But the hawk was just like
Nature.
It was just flying. It didn't flinch. The other bird was like attacking it, and the
Yeah,
big
the
one
hawk's
was
like, okay,
Meh, that's
yeah.
cute.
I laugh
Cute.
at your feeble attempts. Oh, oh, oh.
I could eat you if I wanted.
Yeah, man. So I guess let's just jump into talking about hypocrites breaking civil rights law, man, and this weird
SJWs.
SJWs.
They really know how to scream. Or
But we'll
I
we'll
guess?
start with
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
We'll start with this tweet right here.
Sure.
Check this
Yeah.
out.
Let's
All
go
right,
into that.
There we go.
The Pulitzer Center. For those that aren't familiar, the Pulitzer Prize it's for journalism, but it's also for like writing and stuff too. I think it's nonfiction. I think they do fiction though. Yeah, I think they give you awards for a lot of stuff. And it's like you get this little, I don't know if they give you a physical award. I think you do. You get like this brass thing with like a guy's face on it or something.
Okay.
And they give you 10 grand. That's my understanding. And they tweeted this and they're getting ratioed. Now, I might point out the ratio is relatively small because nobody cares about the Pulitzer Center for the most part.
Yeah.
But it says, we recognize that our mission to raise awareness of underreported global issues through journalism and education can only be achieved by actively cultivating diversity, equity, and inclusion in our work internally and externally. Read our full statement here. No, I'm not going to read your full
No, thank
statement
you.
for your religious proclamation. I'm not interested. But it is a bummer because this is like a direct statement of like the core of journalism being like, we have adopted religious dogma at the core of our mission. And now I've seen some journalists say that they've basically warned you. If you want to win an award, you have to do this. You have to say these things. And then, you know, the 1619 Project?
I've heard of it. Yeah, we've talked about it a bunch of
and
times.
you know about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, basically it's fake news. They made some stuff up. Like it was all made up basically.
Fake history.
Yeah, so for those that aren't familiar, it was basically the New York Times wrote a series of essays written by people who just made stuff up. They said that America was like a slavocracy, that everything in American history was designed to perpetuate slavery. None of this is true. It's like historians came out saying, what is this? Who wrote this? This is ridiculous. Like, it's not true. In fact, a lot of the founding fathers, they could have done better, I'll tell you what. But they directly opposed slavery from you know, before even the inception of the United States. And I was reading about it. They said that the only reason slavery was permitted within this new country was because they didn't have the support to defeat the British in a revolution without certain states that had slaves. So I'm not a fan of that. That's like, you know, it seems like you're willing to sacrifice your principles for power.
Yep.
I don't like it. But hey, man, look, the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, these have been tools for dismantling oppression. And now we're coming to a period where the pendulum is just swinging all the way in the other direction.
Seems like it, yeah.
Yeah, now it's like we were mentioning earlier, the left has become this dogmatic religious entity. But the problem is it was like a buildup where liberals were the left in this country for a long time. They took over, you know, inherited a lot of institutions, journalism, media. Rural outlets started, you know, decaying due to the internet,
Yep.
like smaller papers and stuff. And now that urban liberals dominate this, they're all being replaced by religious zealots. So it's like all of a sudden you wake up one day and a cult owns your mainstream media, owns your video gaming. It starts manipulating and you're watching them stick their tendrils into it.
Even like small town businesses are being taken over. Walmart, you know, Home Depot. Like,
Or they're adopting.
well,
like,
no, they're. I mean, I'm just making a comparison. It's the same kind of thing. It's happening across the board. You
with
know,
like the weird
just people taking over.
You know what it is? I think it's the natural progression of civil rights law. But now it's gone to a point where it's overtly breaking civil rights law. So, for those that are curious about like the headline, I have more than one friend, and I can see these people that I knew I would dare I say have lost it. It's like, how do you get someone out of a cult? And it's funny because they message me saying things like, "What happened to you, man?" And I'm like, "Nothing, literally nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing happened to
I'm
me."
the same exact way.
I had some
I've always
people
been.
that I knew from Vice come over. They're like, "We're hanging out." And they're saying this insane stuff. And I'm like, "What changed for you guys?" And they were like, "What do you mean, man?" Like, they're looking at me saying that I've changed, my content's changed. And I'm like, "Let me ask you a question, man. Think about an article Vice would have written 10 years ago.
Okay.
Think about an article Vice would write today. Like, come on.
I
dude.
don't know Vice anymore, so I can't even think of something that they'd write.
They wrote an article that said this horrifying app can show you any woman topless. Because what it would do is you take a picture and then it would Photoshop it instantly to like take the shirt off.
Okay.
And I was like, "Here's the article, right?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, would Vice have written this 10 years ago?
No.
And they're like, "No." And I'm like, "Right." So you look at me and you're like, you changed, man. I'm like, "No, I didn't. I went to work for the company." In what year was it? It was 2012 is when I started talking to Vice. 2013 is when I got hired. And that was around the time things started to change. I went to go work for the company that would write offensive comments and content and do gross things like take a dump in a jar and leave it festering in the back of the building. They actually did that. Like,
Seriously?
yeah, there's weird stories about the things they used to do when they were edgy and punk rock. Like really weird stuff. And then they all of a sudden just became infected by this stuff. And I'm like, you guys don't understand that what you say and what you're doing, regular people don't like it.
Yeah, regular people. Yeah.
So it's like, you think about policy wise, and I'm like, here you are advocating for one, violating the civil rights law. When they do posts where they're like, we're only hiring, so in like the UK, they do this thing where they say they're only hiring BAME.
Okay.
What does BAME stand for?
Never even heard of it.
I'm not sure.
That's the word, right?
Let me look it up.
Yeah, it's like
BAME. BAM?
Yeah, BAME. BAME.
BAME.
Yeah, it's like something African and minority ethnic, I think.
Black,
Okay.
Asian, minority, ethnic.
There you go. Black,
Yeah,
Asian, minority ethnic. And in the United States, that's illegal outright.
Yeah.
There's some exceptions.
Okay.
Yeah, so if someone came out and said, "I'm looking to hire for this job, but you have to be this category,"
Okay.
that's totally illegal.
Makes sense.
And so the civil rights movement was built to stop people hiring based on identity.
Yeah.
And we pass a law saying you can't do this anymore. And now they're doing it. Now the people who claim to fight against it, they're
Yeah.
the same. It's like it's like the pendulum swinging the other direction.
Yep. That's all I was thinking. The pendulum swings.
They're trying so hard to be not racist that they're racist, or does it not even swing the other way? Maybe it's just swung back. Maybe the pendulum swing really is like racists, freedom, racists, freedom. And it doesn't matter what the core ideology is if they're just overt racists. Yeah.
The
But
Pulitzer Prize seems just like it's become a participation trophy. Like,
Yeah.
you did an awesome article about SJW stuff. Here you go.
You
You
wrote
win one
you wrote a good sermon for the
SJW.
the Church of
Population.
Inclusion and Diversity.
Yeah.
And the definitions keep changing. Like this is funny. James Lindsay is is James Lindsay a professor? He's a professor, right?
He is.
Yeah. And do you know what the Sokol Squared hoax is?
No idea.
You're gonna love this, bro.
Oh man.
And I know a lot of people listening probably already know this, but if you don't, you're gonna love this. So Peter Boghossian,
Oh yeah.
James Lindsay, and Helen Pluckrose, the three masterminds of what's called Sokol Squared.
Sokol Square.
Peter Boghossian is, what is he? He's associate professor of philosophy, I think.
No, he's a math teacher.
He's a math.
Yeah.
No, Peter Boghossian.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
Peter.
James Lindsay's a math
I was
teacher,
gonna say
right?
yeah.
Okay.
Let me see.
They wrote fake academic articles,
Okay.
published them, or submitted them and got them published in prestigious academic journals.
Okay.
Now, first, they wrote one called, what was it, like, they wrote, where are we getting feedback now? What's going on with that?
Yeah, I hear that.
Whoa.
Oof.
There we go.
Whoa.
I don't know
They-
if they can hear it.
I don't think they
it's
can.
just
That was
us,
just us.
right?
Yeah.
It's just us.
All right,
It's
hold on.
Go,
I
go.
don't want to bury the lead.
Go ahead.
They wrote about rape culture in dog parks.
In dog parks.
Dog parks.
Okay.
All right. And I think that one got picked up.
Yep.
Here's the best one. They took a section out of Mein Kampf and they changed certain proper nouns to feminist buzzwords.
Okay.
And it got published.
Wait, what's Mein Kampf?
That's Hitler's book.
Oh, jeez.
Yep.
Okay.
I
And it
think
got
they.
published.
I think
Sure did.
that one did get published.
So
right?
there were some.
Yeah,
that's
that
some
one was-
professional
yeah.
troll work right
Oh
there.
my God.
And
Wow.
they got attacked for
They're
it.
trying
But
to prove a point.
the point was that
Because it got picked up.
social sciences has been totally dominated by dogma.
Yeah.
That if you just adhere to the dogma of the social justice rhetoric, they'll publish anything. It's like, man, could you imagine this? This is what's crazy. Because I had my complaints with the moralistic religious right when I was growing up, but they couldn't add pages to the Bible.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was like the Bible was there.
Imagine if they could, though.
Yeah.
My
Boy,
It's
goodness.
like
was
today
they?
we're putting a new chapter right in the back. And that's what we're getting with social
Well,
justice.
they'd have to fit it. Isn't the end like the end of all times? I don't
No,
know the
no,
Bible
no.
at all.
Yeah,
When's
it's
isn't Revelations? Is
Yeah,
that in the
that's the
middle?
end. That's
the
the
end.
But that's
Yeah.
not the end of the world.
Yeah,
I thought it is, isn't
It's
it?
Revelation?
end times. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, end
Yes.
times, isn't it?
No, I think you guys are wrong.
I will tell you this.
Certainly don't have
I
anything.
know.
I don't know the Bible at
I
all.
was
so.
raised in it.
Yeah, you know.
100%.
I would trust her.
End of days.
And I'm
is
right.
Revelation.
So
Yeah.
it couldn't go at the end. They'd have to fit it in before that.
Yeah, just squish
thought-
it in.
Right
I thought
before
that
the
was
end,
like-
this all this new stuff will happen that we're gonna
Not
declare.
about what will happen, just like new rules.
Yeah. Oh, so that would go in-
8,926.
Yes, Old Testament.
Well, how often do you think
Yeah.
that had to have
Leviticus,
happened though
Deuteronomy.
in real life? They actually
Added
they
stuff?
had to add stuff
I don't
and
know.
They
create
did.
new things and
I mean, I don't know a whole lot about the history, but I'm pretty sure there was like something like Council of Rome or something. Do you know about this?
Council of Nicaea.
Is that what
they
it's
went
called?
through and they like edited some of it. And
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Come on, what is that
I
all
know,
about?
I know.
The word of God isn't good enough here. It's good enough
We're
here.
gonna fix it. Let's just fix a little bit.
So anyway, look. The point is,
yeah.
the King James Bible has been the same, and for all of my arguments with the people I grew up with were religious.
Okay.
I knew what I was arguing against. Now they just keep changing everything.
Yep.
Now it's like, look, James Lindsay said, I'll kindly add some expanded clarity on these continuously evolving definitions for you. What does that even mean?
That's funny.
But he's right.
He is
Well, they
correct.
keep changing
Yeah.
stuff.
Look at this. Diversity. What does it mean? Diversity means more than just acknowledging and or tolerating difference. Diversity is a set of conscious practices that involve understanding and appreciating interdependence of humanity, cultures, and the natural environment, practicing mutual respect for qualities and experiences that are different from our own, understanding that diversity includes not only ways of being, but also ways of knowing, recognizing that personal, cultural, and institutionalized discrimination creates and sustains privileges for some while creating and sustaining disadvantages for others. Building alliances across differences so that we can work together to eradicate all forms of discrimination. Now, as far as I'm concerned, this whole thing is like the new nobility. That's what it is. And they want to maintain their class power by claiming that they're advocating against their class power. But they're not. They're establishing it, right?
Okay. I see what you're saying.
A society that says everyone has equal opportunity and merit determines means that, well, of course, some people have class-based, advantages. But when you assert this and you straight up say white people have privilege, you are establishing that always you, as a white person, are above, that you're better off. You're anchoring your position as in the hierarchy above other people. It's literally what they do.
Yeah.
And they justify it by saying like, but we're going to help those in need. It's like, nah, you're actually just telling people that you're smarter and better than them, And now it's in journalism, and it'll be everything. I think we were talking about how this stuff is kind of drifting away when COVID happens.
It felt like it for a while, yeah.
Yeah, and now that COVID's going away, this is coming back.
Coming back, yay.
Going away, in quotes.
But it is. I mean,
Hope
like,
so.
we see those videos of people out partying at the Lake of the Ozarks.
It
and
feels
stuff.
like they're really trying to keep it as long as possible, though. Like, wait, where's COVID? Can we keep it around somehow?
Can we blame it for something else?
We don't have enough powers as
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, exactly.
And for a while, the culture war was COVID.
Yeah, that's true.
It was like the dogma from the left was the lockdown must remain. And then the right started saying, no, the lockdown must be lifted. And like, that was it. And it was like, what?
Yep.
That was it. And it was
It's a partisan issue now. Like,
Yep.
Yeah, I don't
What?
know why? Yeah.
And now, what are we dealing with? We're dealing with like the lockdown's backfired.
Yep.
We've got numerous studies saying it. The New York Times. This is what my main segment on my YouTube, my Timcast channel was about. The New York Times said the coronavirus is worse in Democrat counties.
Oh, yeah,
Like-
I didn't see that video. We talked about it before you recorded it though. It's interesting.
If you live in an area where Hillary Clinton won, you are more likely to be negatively impacted by COVID.
I was not expecting to hear that.
Yep. And the New York and so a lot of people immediately say like, oh well, the Hillary Clinton districts are all population dense. Doesn't explain Houston and Dallas. It doesn't explain Japan. It doesn't explain a bunch of big cities around the world that did not face this.
Well, someone actually tweeted this to me earlier. They said that you referenced Japan, the numbers in Japan.
Yeah.
And they said that they live in Japan. They've been there for 6 years. And it's really hard to get tested. It's really hard to get treatment. So a lot of the people who have COVID are going unnoticed, basically.
Sure.
So it's hard to get an actual number.
Look at the numbers in so I think the easiest way to assess that is you look at South Dakota, you look at Texas, you look at Florida.
Right. Okay.
Are their hospitals overrun with COVID patients? No. So testing aside,
that
the answer
actually
is
has
no.
got me thinking, which hospitals were overrun?
In New York there were.
There was.
Yeah,
Some
absolutely.
hospitals went overrun?
Definitely.
Okay.
I mean, there's videos of this.
And then
Italy too.
why didn't they use those extra hospitals that they set up then?
Javits was used.
It was
the
used.
Javits Center.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not sure about the boat.
Right.
Was it the Mercy
I
or
don't
The
something?
think it
medical
was used
boat.
at all.
Yeah, I don't think it was.
Yeah.
The Javits Center was used, but most of the field hospitals, like 90% or whatever, never used at all. So now they're just keeping everything locked down.
So technically, it
whatever
was
reason.
a partisan issue.
Yeah. Weird, right?
Right.
Yeah, in many ways.
Yeah, so the policies of look, we look at that data and we can't say exactly which policies. We can't say the extended lockdowns were wrong. So Texas was one of the last to lock down and one of the first to open, according to the New York Times.
Okay.
Texas also had almost none of the problems of New York. New York was one of the first to lock down, and Washington was one of the first to lock down, and they had it really, really bad.
Yeah.
And then we saw this is what blows my mind. Andrew Cuomo comes out and does his thing on the daily basis, and he's like, "Look at this! 66% of people getting sick are at home. Better extend the lockdown another month and a half."
Yeah.
Like, wait, what? You're taking people out of the jails and then putting them in the place where they're getting sick?
And then taking
Yep.
sick people and putting them in places where the most people who are going to get it the most, the old people's homes, that's where they're
Nursing
putting.
homes.
Yeah, the nursing homes. Like, why would you put? Like, of course, those are the people that are getting killed. Why are you putting people in there?
Adam,
Oh,
that was Trump's fault.
oh, right. He blamed Trump
He
for
blamed
that.
Trump
That's
for it.
right.
Even though Trump sent over the medical boat for
Right,
them to
right,
use,
right.
Yeah.
which now I'm finding out they didn't even use.
Yep.
I don't know why.
How
they
does that
didn't
make any sense?
I don't know.
Does not.
I don't know why they didn't use it.
Quote,
I mean, look,
is that just their go-to? Oh, am I being blamed for something? No. Trump did it. It's Trump's fault.
It
Yeah.
is.
That's
it
their
is.
go-to.
Listen, when
so
Trump
sick of that.
when Trump says, "I want the states to reopen," they'll go, "Yeah, you can't make the states reopen because you don't have the authority." And Trump goes, "I have the authority. I have supreme authority." And all the journalists are like, "No, you don't," and he doesn't.
Yeah.
But then when the states are falling apart, they're like, "Trump should have locked down sooner." You just told him he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
It's when the problem, when it's their fault, it's Trump for doing it.
And they need money.
But then when Trump wants to change things, say you're not allowed to because you don't actually have the authority to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
still need
Oh
money.
yeah, and they want money.
Yeah, they do need. They do
Oh
want
man,
money.
I love it.
Oh yeah.
Man, they need money. It reminds me of the greatest story ever told by George Carlin.
It sounds familiar. I
It's
might have heard it. Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen the Zeitgeist documentary.
I have. Yeah.
It opens with him saying like the greatest story ever told, and then he talks about religion. He drags religion.
Oh yeah.
But then he
that's right.
ends by saying, there's a man in the sky and he needs money. And that reminds me of what these governors are doing, where it's like they've shut down, they've destroyed their economies, they've locked people out of their buildings, they've threatened them with arrest. Now that there's no tax revenue coming in, they got to go to the federal government because they need money.
Mm-hmm.
They can rag on Trump all day and night. It's all his fault.
Yeah, that's what Phil Murphy's doing.
Phil Murphy in New Jersey.
Yeah, so he
Yeah.
was like, we desperately need federal funding, and by the way, all our medical professionals are going to run out of work, and we're going to have to fire all the paramedics. Give us some money.
He actually said they're going to fire medical professionals.
Wow.
This is the problem I have with the kind of loop it back in with like the culture war SJW stuff. Is I had a friend message me saying the government should provide for everybody. They should provide for healthcare and food and cover rent, or like a moratorium on rent and evictions while this is happening. And I'm like, that is such a fairy tale view of the world, man. Yes, the good old government fairy will float down your chimney and sprinkle their little magic cane, and poof, a cornucopia of fruit and vegetables and bread will pour out, and they'll smile like a Disney movie.
What a lovely image.
Lovely
I like
image.
that.
Imagine Uncle Sam, but fat, with wings, and he floats in, and it's like Disney animation, and he goes like,
Okay, whoa. It just now
got
turned
really
to a
terrible.
nightmare. Yeah. My God. I
no,
don't want to imagine that.
and then when you
Fat
wake
Uncle
up, he
Sam
goes,
coming?
you.
I want you. Like,
To eat
you want
this-
me?
To eat this bread I made. And you're like, thanks, Uncle Sam. Do you know the government used to give people cheese?
Government
What?
cheese.
Government
yes.
used to give people cheese, bro.
Government cheese.
Yeah.
Real cheese.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, real
Plus-
cheese, not fake cheese,
Yeah.
huh?
The government used to give people
Yeah.
cheese.
Who knew?
I mean, I'll take some chow cheese from the government.
No, it was nasty. It was nasty stuff. Look at this.
Ew.
Government cheese.
It looks gross.
It's real.
Wow.
One big, huge block of cheese.
Government cheese is processed cheese provided to welfare beneficiaries. Could you imagine
Oh wow.
Ronald Reagan actually like coming to your door?
Is that
and being
Reagan
like,
holding a big block of cheese?
Here's cheese, buddy. You hungry?
No.
Not
Yeah.
anymore.
I think
Is Velveeta the same as government cheese?
Ooh.
You won't soon forget it. Its flavor was described as somewhere between Velveeta and American.
Huh.
The government made its own cheese and gave it
Doesn't
to
sound
people.
that bad.
So they weren't trying to
Oh.
sell it or anything, huh?
No, it was for it was like their equivalent of food stamps.
Oh.
They'd give you a block of cheese.
Here you
Good
go.
source of calories.
The government comes down. So okay, I'll tell you what. Maybe if people grew up in the 50s and they got cheese, they're like, the government should give us cheese again. I demand.
Cheese.
But
Remember
anyway,
when they gave us cheese?
my
I miss those
Yeah.
days.
I don't know how I'd feel like. What is like a? It was like a. Does it come in a cooler or like? Oh no, because
they're shelf
Velveeta.
stable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Velveeta is shelf stable, huh?
Man.
Blah.
Blech.
Yeah. No.
No thanks.
Yeah, thank
I'm
you.
good.
No. I mean, it's American cheese. What do you expect?
I
be
never
worse.
liked American cheese anyway.
Yeah, I didn't
Food
either,
stamp
but-
recipients and the elderly receiving Social Security in the U.S. got government cheese
Oh man.
and food banks. It was processed cheese used in military kitchens during World War II,
Oh wow.
and had been used in the schools since the 1950s. So I guess they had too much. They made a bunch of cheese for the
Surplus.
war, and so they were like, "Give people cheese."
Wait,
man.
when were they actually giving away this cheese?
In the 50s?
Oh, it was in the 50s. Okay.
yeah, in the
okay.
50s. That's crazy, right? Anyway, back to the main
Interesting.
point.
I don't know how we got here.
Random.
No, because what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
Yeah. Okay. I
My,
remember.
my friend who's gone completely down the cultist rabbit hole,
Okay.
and it's shocking to me
That's hard.
that they used to be normal, and then something happened to them, and it's like I was explaining early on, like nothing happened to me, dude. Like there's a reason I left Vice. Everyone started going crazy. I'm very individualistic. I'm very headstrong. I know what I'm doing, where I'm going.
Yep.
The things that I've talked about policy-wise, it's like Bernie Sanders in 2008 or whatever. Was like, we got to build a wall. Bernie, we said border fence or something.
Okay.
We need a barrier between this country and Mexico. Because he, and then even recently with the New York Times, he said illegal immigration depresses wages. And I'm like, these are facts that every Democrat supported. But now they've all gone so far left on this cultist rabbit hole. They're like, we got to stop deporting people and let them work here. It's like, wait,
And give them health insurance. It's
Yeah.
like, wait, we don't even have health insurance as Americans.
Yeah.
Why are you jumping over to giving other people
Jumping
health
the
insurance?
gun there a little
How does that
It's-
make any sense?
you know the easiest way I can explain
never
it is
understood
if
that.
have I ever told you about the Tai Chi Hitler stuff?
No.
Let me see if I can find this.
Oh, please
The Tai
enlighten
Chi
me.
Hitler stuff.
man.
Tell me about Tai Chi Hitler.
I'm not
Stuff.
sure where this is going. It kind of makes me uncomfortable.
I'm not gonna play. Maybe I should play it. I mean,
Oh, is it
it's
an
on
anime?
YouTube.
Something?
No, let's pull this up. Hulk versus Hitler Finger Family Nursery Rhymes.
Yeah. Oh, it's this. Okay.
Oh, this thing you were talking about the other
gonna
day.
load.
Whoa,
Whoa,
that
whoa,
was
whoa.
loud.
We do
That
not
was
want to
very
play
loud.
that.
My ears
All
hurt.
right, let's see.
Sorry if that affected
All right,
anyone
there you
else.
go.
There
For
you
those
go.
that are watching, we got Adolf Hitler and what looks like some kind of Hulk monster.
It looks like a lizard Hulk.
and so what it is, 'cause I'm not going to play the audio. It's really creepy. Look at this. What is that?
Oh,
That is
there's a
not-
man?
That's like Sasquatch Hulk. Oh, wait, look. Here's a green bikini lady and Catwoman doing the same thing. And then a finger comes up with the green lady's face.
What are we watching?
We are
Mesmerized
watching-
here.
I feel like we just jumped into the SJW hole.
Right.
I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
It
but
does.
It feels like we're in a hole somewhere.
does. It
Oh,
does.
this is a nursery rhymes for children. This is what you were talking about the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so listen.
Yeah.
For those of you that are listening, I'm going to explain this to you.
Wow.
We're looking at this freaky Hulk versus Hitler 3D animation nursery rhyme video. And this is the easiest way I can explain to people
my
social justice politics.
Yeah.
So let me explain to you why this video exists.
Please try to explain it to me.
Mothers
I don't get it.
were giving babies iPads.
Right.
They would put the iPad in front of the baby, and they would turn on Finger Family Nursery Rhyme.
Okay.
The original videos are just like Dora the Explorer dancing around, and it sings this nursery rhyme, which I'm not going to sing because people get mad at me because it'll get stuck in their head, where it like basically names all the fingers.
Okay.
YouTube's autoplay algorithm doesn't differentiate between substance. It only interacts with like, are you watching for a long time?
Okay.
And are the keywords relevant, right? The algorithm at the time, this is several years ago, like just, it didn't work very well. And so what ends up happening is when a baby is laying in a crib and the iPad is just playing autoplay for hours, first it'll play a real nursery rhyme video. Then it'll play another real nursery rhyme video.
Okay.
But then the quality will start to degrade. This video was developed by people in India who used basically keyword scrapers
Right.
to figure out what was getting the most plays on YouTube.
And make stuff that would also get hits, basically.
Yeah. And so what happens is after a few runs, the autoplay algorithm on YouTube would play complete garbled nonsense.
Right.
Now here's what's funny. When you look at that as a sentient human adult who is like learned even a little bit, you're like, this is insane.
Yes.
But what would happen if someone took an amalgamation of general politics and mashed it all together and then presented it for you? It would look real. To a baby, they can't tell the difference. They see this, the baby's like, oh, that's just, that's the only thing I know.
Here now. Yeah.
So here's what happens with social justice politics. Facebook started, early on in Facebook's days, a bunch of blogs started popping up like Huffington Post, BuzzFeed. And they found that by exploiting Facebook's algorithm, they could get a ton of shares on their articles and make a lot of money.
Okay.
But it was completely dependent upon Facebook, people on Facebook clicking share. Something truly fascinating ends up happening. A website like Huffington Post will write about a police brutality article.
Okay.
You know, like some police brutality thing happens. 100,000 shares. They get 10 million views, and they're like, we just made 40 grand off of that one article that took you 10 minutes to write.
Yeah.
Write more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then something even stranger happens. BuzzFeed writes about sexism, and that also gets 10 million, right? So the algorithm says sexism, show this more because people share it. Racism, show this more because people share it. And then a light bulb appeared over Jonah Peretti's head.
Racist.
Boom.
Booyah.
What?
Making the money.
And that's how you get intersectional feminism.
The algorithm.
So now on Facebook, all of a sudden, they started jamming as many things as possible into their articles. And so intersectionality was the key, man. It was the obvious outcome of Facebook's algorithmic manipulation. An article about sexism gets you X views.
Yeah.
An article about racism gets you Y views. An article about sexism and racism gets you X plus Y views.
All I can think of is that
Boom.
that woman talking about Ivanka and how that article just
seemed like
had
a robot.
she hit
Exactly.
every different point she could even.
Exactly.
We were like, how did it even go there? But nope, she was just putting it all in there to hit all the check
algorithm.
boxes.
And it might not even be on purpose. It might be a natural tendency. So here's what happens. I mentioned when I say Jonah Peretti and BuzzFeed, those are hypotheticals. I'm using them as examples because this is what they're accused of doing by, like Jeff Jarvis is a professor, and he did some Twitter thread about how BuzzFeed's whole business model was basically using Facebook's algorithm.
Okay.
When Facebook changed this, they all panicked and lost a ton of money and laid a ton of people off. So, but now we end up seeing this tendency occurs, right? The first thing that happened was this. Krigler News pops up. Right?
Ooh.
A legitimate
Have you
news
heard of
source.
Krigler News?
Krigler
That's
News pops up
legitimate.
on Facebook.
Oh.
It's not a thing, but
Very
It's not a
could
thing.
be.
It's hypothetical. So let's say the year 2007, and someone creates the Kriglington Post.
Ooh.
An interesting twist.
Yes, the Kriglington Post is straight
Kriglington
news. Straight news.
I
Yo,
love it.
only the real news. That's
Only
what we
the real
do
news.
at Kriglington.
And so it was articles that were like, today in Syria, 17 fighters approached the U.S. border and surrendered. Really, really boring, dry stuff.
Okay.
At the same time, the Huffington Post pops up. They both publish articles. Kriglington News, the Kriglington Post, is straightforward, fair, and objective.
That's
The
right.
Huffington Post is shock, content, outrage, intersectionality. Guess which one gets more shares? Not Kriglington Post, I'm sorry.
No, I know it was
Yeah,
sad.
the straightforward news, people just didn't want it.
We had to go under.
So now what happens is the real news goes out of business.
Yep.
venture capitalists start seeing Huffington Post and all these companies, and so they're like, let's dump some money into this.
Yeah, let's
it's
invest
making money.
there. Yeah.
Boom. All of a sudden, these companies were worth hundreds of millions of dollars. They're getting crazy investment. I mean, Vox got like, 200 million. Vice got like 500 million. Just dump it all in, light it up. And this propped up these companies. Now they were funded. Something else funny happens. So you get a company like Vice. What do? They hire people like me. They hire a bunch of cool people who know how to do news and do real legit on-the-ground reporting. They also hire some rage bait SJW types. Guess which content gets more money?
Yep.
So guess who eventually falls off the budget? Look,
that
man.
would be you.
Well, not me. I quit.
Right. I
left. They probably would have kept me there forever.
Yeah.
If I was still there.
Yeah, and pushed you further and further away though, because you didn't fall in line with what they were doing though.
No, with Vice?
I don't see. I don't see you.
No.
There.
With Vice, I was doing everything they wanted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, Vice was developing things around what I was doing. Like, okay. Yeah, it's complicated, but Shane's.
Of course it is.
Of course.
Well, yeah, of course, it's not so simple, especially building Vice News. But Shane said at the Knight Foundation Awards, someone asked him, like, do you ever think Vice would be doing on the ground reporting? And he was like, no, it wasn't until, Tim Pool came, and I think he's sitting right over there. And I was like, oh, wow. I already quit at that point. And I was like, all right, I appreciate it, man. So they didn't want to do it. It was difficult. They were resisting. I was like, I want to do field reporting. And they're like, we don't do that. We do documentary stuff. And I'm like, I want to do it.
Yeah.
And then Rocco, who's working on Scanner now, was actually a big advocate. Like, you got to look at what this dude's doing. He's crazy. So they started building stuff around it. But I could see where things were going because it was slowly turning into a corporate machine.
Okay.
And I knew where that would turn, what that would become. But there's another big aspect to this, right? So I ended up joining Fusion, and at first these companies weren't infected. The infection spreads to them, right? Vice was actually all right.
Yeah.
Vice was making money off being like the opposite of a lot of these social justice companies. For one reason or another, more like having to do with the sexual harassment accusations against higher ups at Vice, they started adopting this stuff. And I think it has to do a lot with the investors who were looking at all these other companies, and they were like, this is what we have to do to avoid these scandals. Mm-hmm. But the infection hit. The people who are more likely to write articles to get traffic were social justice rage bait writers.
Yep.
So they were more likely to keep their jobs because they got the views, they made the money, and the companies became social justice rage bait outlets, and that was the spread of the infection. And it's funny because a lot of people would say things like, Tim Pool doesn't get it. This was it's like 2014 and stuff, 2015. And when they were talking about Gamergate and like video games being infected with social justice stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, the video game stuff, it's actually really, really obvious how that all started. Let's say you write for a video game outlet.
Okay.
What do you write about today? Video game come out or something? Destiny?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I mean, I would be talking about the game, the mechanics of the games.
What game?
Probably right now I'd probably talk about Revenant and
Revenant?
the new stuff that's coming out. No, it's been out for a little bit, but it's not really well known, and it's an incredibly fun game.
What do you write about tomorrow?
Probably a different game. I would just go through all the games I played in the past.
What's the news, though? It's a news outlet. We're not just doing. You're not just doing reviews. It's the news. What's the news, man? Did something happen in gaming? The answer. It's actually.
I could
simple.
probably talk about the deer person, but that's a one-off. Then what? I would stick to the games. I would much as I could.
The answer is you can't. It's impossible.
Yeah. What is news in games? It's like,
so a game's coming out.
You're making up
a game's
stuff.
Getting reviewed.
Yeah, that's what I would.
And so some of these journalistic gaming sites would do a big encyclopedia, basically like a game guide.
Okay.
So some of these gaming outlets, you'd go there and you'd see like a ton of articles about how to do certain things. But when your job is to write 5 articles a day, and it's about gaming, what do you write about, man? What do you do? Well, I wrote 4 articles. That's every game coming out this month.
Yeah.
Now I got to write 5 articles every day for the rest of the month. Social justice fake controversy. They make it up. Like that woman we mentioned about the Ivanka Trump article.
Right.
For those that aren't familiar, it was this article that said, okay, Ivanka Trump responded to Elon Musk.
Oh, right.
Elon Musk said, take the red pill. Ivanka said, taken. And she writes 400 words about incels and misogyny and what this really means about Ivanka. And I'm like, bro, she said a 5-letter word. Calm down.
One word.
But she stuffed everything in there.
Everything.
Yep. And so she might not even do that on purpose. That could just be that, like,
I ran out of steam and I need to write another one. No?
She's the natural crazy person who writes crazy nonsense, whose articles work. She might not be consciously being like, how do I craft a lie? And so what happens, a lot of these companies, people think that journalists are like told to do this, and they do. Nah, man. They're the ones who survived. The industry is collapsing. You know, the Atlantic just laid off 20% of its staff.
Yeah.
Who do you think stayed? Do you think let me tell you something, man. Go to an investor.
That's a good point.
Go to an investor, all right, and tell him this. I want to start a news company, and we're going to do a really big news investigation. Okay. Investor's going to ask you, how much that cost? First year, full investigation, we're going to need at least 2 other people on staff. We're going to need a travel budget. We're going to need equipment. Oh, man, to get off the ground. For a good investigative reporter, we're talking like $100K. Like, I'm talking like a good one, like an award-winning, like this is going to be big, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's roll that down. It's going to be a new company. We got some young upstarts. We're going to pay them $50 because they live in New York and this is their demand because other companies pay comparably. So we've got 2 people at $50. We're going to buy a bunch of cameras. We're going to put probably, 30 or 40 in production. So I'm going to need like 100, 200 just in staffing. Then I'm going to need like 50 in office space. And then I'm going to need probably like 100 in travel and everything else. So let's just call it 300K. Investor's going to say, all right, sounds good. What's our projection after 1, 3, or 5 years? And you're going to say nothing, nothing, and nothing. Okay, well, hold on, man. You're asking me for $300,000. What do you mean nothing?
Right.
Nothing. We might not even get the story, bro. We might spend a year investigating and nothing comes out of it. And that budget we're asking for, it's for 1 year. You want to talk a 3-year budget? We'll need $1 million. Not to mention inflation costs, salaries, and everything. So you mean to tell me, I'm the investor, you mean to tell me that you want $1 million for a 3-year operation with no guarantees of anything produced? Get out of here. I'm not paying for that.
Yeah.
That's nuts. And then another guy walks up and says, buddy, I'll tell you what. You give me $5,000 right now. I'll hire a freelancer for $100 to write me some nonsense about some racist video gamer. I'll make a $2,000 return like that overnight. We're just going to game the algorithm. $5,000, that's it. Yup, $5,000, that's it. What do I get out of that? I think I can turn into 50. How long? A couple weeks. Deal. There you go. Now people are being inundated with this across the board. You look at CNN, they're struggling. They're burning to the ground. So what do? Let's play the game, baby.
Yeah.
Let's play the game.
You think that infection that you're talking about, the SJW, like clickbaity stuff, that's kind of the reason why all these Karens are going nuts because look at what's being spread around on the internet. This must be the way life is.
They're turning into it.
The toxic masculinity. Well, look, these are the articles that are being shared. This must be the way things are.
Kind of, yes.
The infection's growing into people's minds
It's
now.
not making them Karens. It's activating the Karen gene.
There it is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the X gene. Mm-hmm. So what happens is if they see nothing but content where it tells them people not wearing masks, bad. What do? You ever see Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
No, we've referenced it. And
so there's
people have yelled at me to watch it because it's supposed to be great.
Let me pull up this tweet that I posted. I got to do some navigating. But Cassandra Fairbanks, who is
She's funny.
She posted this clip from these Karens who are screeching at somebody for not wearing a mask.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. Yeah,
and so I posted a video, and I want to play the sound. Oh no, I probably can't play the sound. I think we might be able to. Anyway, I'll just show you the image.
Oh, this is from the movie?
Yeah. So here, watch. This is Donald Sutherland. She walks up. And then he goes like this.
And he's just screaming so loud. It's like ear splitting.
But yeah, we'll get flagged if I play it. He's like, ooh.
That's
because he's been body snatched.
He's been body snatched. He's like, that's the joke I make, right?
Yeah.
So that's what happens.
The Karen gene.
People want to fit in, right?
Yeah.
And so they don't want to be ostracized. If the only thing they see every day, they're being inundated by the same narrative, a narrative that makes no sense, then they just say like, whatever that is, right?
Yeah. Well, it makes sense to them.
No, it doesn't make sense. And they know it. That's why they don't do interviews.
I don't know.
Absolutely. That's why they don't do interviews, man. They don't want to, because they know they have no ideology. All they have is the tribe, the collective.
Yeah.
And if they defy it, they'll get canceled. And the rules change every day. So if you do an interview and you say something about them, tomorrow the rule might be different. So anyway, here's the point. Here's the point I was going to make about the video of the Hitler dancing.
Right.
You can see all of the weird keywords mashed together that makes no sense. But in order to exploit an adult, you need to take things that make sense and then present it in a way where they're like, I know what these things are. and then you need to figure out how you can connect them. That's why the rules change so often, because it doesn't make sense at all. Like, what is or isn't offensive makes literally no sense. But mash all of these different political causes into one, and you end up with like the Muslim LGBT alliance, where you have in the UK Muslims showing up to protest the LGBT curriculum in, what was it, in Birmingham?
I think so.
Or whatever.
Yeah, like elementary school.
An elementary school was doing LGBT curriculum. Muslims protested it, and they were fighting with each other. Yet intersection, like, actually a better example than this too is r/atheism on Reddit. It is a subreddit, a forum with millions of people dedicated to ragging on religion.
Okay.
But for the most part, just Christians. I mean, you can't rag on Muslims. They're an oppressed minority. You know what I mean?
I see.
And so there was like recently a really funny post where it was someone criticizing Islam, and all of the comments were walking on eggshells. There was, look, if you want to talk about Christianity, they're like, these backwater yokel morons, so stupid, Trump chuds, and they just go nuts ragging on Christians. Islam, they were like, I think it's fair to say we can criticize and talk critically. Unfortunately, too much of these people have hidden motives, and it's like, are you kidding me, dude? Yeah. Like, you want to rag on religion, bro.
Where'd all that internet sass go?
It's about what's safe. And it's interesting because we did an event. There's a group called Mythicist Milwaukee.
Okay.
We did an event. They did an event in Milwaukee. I showed up at the last minute. And there's like an interesting break in the atheist community. And I think there's this really weird thing that happened in the early 2010s.
Okay.
Where the left and the right like spun in a weird way and then split in half. So it's like
a polar shift.
Not really. Yeah. Maybe like a polar shift, but you now have, like, there are people I know who made lefty anti-war videos that are now suit-wearing MAGA hat dudes. And I'm like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
How did that happen? Like, that's a change for sure.
Walk away.
Yeah, seriously.
For sure. But there are people who are a lot like us, who for the most part are the exact same, talk about the exact same things, but everything else shifted around us.
Yeah, definitely.
So, like, the best example is these people at Vice being like, man, you changed, dude. Like, what happened? And I'm like, bro, remember when you wrote that edgy article? Yeah. I'm like, I didn't even write that. There's one dude who became an overt SJW, and then people looked at his history writing for Vice, and they were like, bro, you are the most racist, sexist we've ever seen.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, well, I mean, I disavow my past. And they were like, don't care, you're canceled. And, like, just light him up online. Like, just go at him like crazy. But these are the people that just, they're the grifters, and they accuse everyone else of being a grifter. It's sad, dude. When, like, I have good friends that I've known for years, and, like, we'd hang out, we'd have a good time, to hear what they're saying now, and I'm like, directly breaking the law. Their companies are advocating for things that are outright illegal.
How do you, just like hiring those people?
Yeah, and I'm like, how do you go from being like, we need the Civil Rights Act to prevent discrimination in the hiring process, to 2 years later being like, I'm gonna discriminate against the people I'm hiring. It's like,
so it's
snap?
illegal to say I want to hire this specific type of person?
For the most part, yes.
Okay.
Like, if there was a job posting that said, we're looking for a janitor but men only,
okay, super
illegal. If it said Christians only, illegal. If it said Americans only, illegal. Like, even I think national origin is yeah. So now what's happening is you've got people putting up posts being like, we're only hiring women, we're only doing this. There are exceptions for modeling, entertainment, performance, for obvious reasons. Mm-hmm. And there are some exceptions that can be argued in court. Like, that's what the point of judges are for, right? Like, copyright infringement and fair use. Literally everything is copyright infringement that's under fair use, but it's an exemption. So you can be sued and then you'll win on a fair use grounds.
Okay.
So, like, when I show a news article and I'm talking about it and reading it and commenting, yeah, technically that's infringement.
Right.
Except it's fair use, so,
because it's public.
Yeah. So when it comes to these, like, employment violations, for, like, you think about who was posting these jobs, like, so-and-so need not apply in the 60s.
Long-haired freaky people.
Need not apply, right?
Irish, yeah.
Long-haired freaky people.
It's a good song.
Think you're allowed to discriminate against long-haired freaky people, though.
You will, I'm sure.
No, I'll never work again.
Long-haired freaky people. Today, it's like, what am I supposed to say to somebody who's become, like, a hardcore racist, and they're in the dogma? And it's like the craziest thing is it's all tied together with politics.
Yeah.
So the lockdown is part of it too. These same people.
What makes it even worse though, it becomes part of their like emotions, you know? So even having a logical conversation with someone like that, like you asked, like how do you talk to someone like that? You almost can't.
You can't.
Because as soon as you go against what they believe, they get triggered, and you can't have a logical, peaceful conversation because their emotions just shoot through the roof, and then that starts driving, you know,
it's their worldview.
Everything they're talking about. Yeah, you're going against their worldview, and that's you don't do that.
Yeah.
As soon as you do that, boom, emotions
Religion.
take over. Same thing.
It's
even
crazy how
even
like
food. You know, talking about people well, like people get triggered whenever the word vegan comes around. It's like, oh my gosh, triggered. And it's like, whoa, I don't care about what you eat. Don't even say it. It's like the other day he said, you know, oh man, vegans talking about food, and it's like it wasn't even me.
Yeah, it was
in the
me
room.
talking about it.
You were talking about it, you know, and it's like that.
Just getting you dragged.
There's a trigger that happens against the worldview. It's like, you know, that happens pretty much to everyone on different levels, but especially in this
tribalism,
situation.
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's like when people bring up the vegan stuff, it's usually not as heated as the political stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
But people always get heated about.
Well, when you get crazy vegans, which there's certainly
man.
crazy vegans out there, you know, they'll attack even me for having like a pet. You know,
Right.
having pets to some vegans is like, whoa, you're using them as love slaves, and it's like,
Yes.
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, PETA will come.
that's what humans have done for a long time. Like, okay, anyway,
Yeah,
it's
man.
pretty funny.
It's impossible to have a conversation with somebody who's adopted a dogmatic worldview.
Yep.
And what blows my mind is that right now the religious right are the ones begging for the conversation.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I think like Ben Shapiro is a great example. Like how often he's had calm conversations about what he thinks and what he believes, even if he's wrong, even if people call him out, even if they make videos on YouTube where they're like, here's Ben Shapiro being wrong. He doesn't scream at people and freak out. He gets heated. He has his debates.
Yeah, but that's what we need.
But how did we come to a point where this like inversion happened, where Jon Stewart was making fun of everybody and it was funny, and you had George Carlin, and it was like, oh man, these authoritarian, it's like the libertarian shift happened.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like the pendulum of libertarianism.
Oh,
And it was on
yeah.
the left for a while, now it's on the right for a while.
That kind of makes sense.
And it's like authoritarianism goes up and then it goes down, it goes back and forth or whatever.
Yeah.
Now it's the right. And so if you're mostly just a libertarian type, you are now more likely to have a good conversation with Trump supporters, conservatives, and if it's not with the left.
Yeah, you can't further yourself if you're just only going to believe what you believe. You have to hear the other side of it to, you know, oh, how do you know it's dark at night? Well, because it's bright during the day and then it gets dark at night.
I looked out my window.
Yeah.
Let me stop you right there, buddy.
That's the
I
most
don't
base-
need to look out the window to know when night and day is. Okay,
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Here's another example of like the just the dementia that's affecting this group of people.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody commented in reply to like Trump, these Trump reply guys, and they said something like, you know, there's only ever been one instance of known voter fraud from mail-in voting, and it was a Republican. And so I quoted that in saying, whoa, a Republican tried cheating with mail-in voting. That's a good reason for Democrats to oppose it. I didn't say I was for or against mail-in voting. I was poking fun at the argument that you're accusing Republicans of cheating and being in favor of mail-in voting. Like, how does that make sense, right?
Right.
And so then someone responded with, are you seriously opposed to mail-in voting? You MAGA Trumpsters need to blah, 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 blah. And it's like some high-profile guy who said this. Someone responded with, Tim lays out his position in the evidence here, and links to one of my videos. His immediate response was, let me stop you right there, buddy. I don't need to watch a video to understand that these people are stupid, blah, 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 blah. Like, my position was, for the most part, we do have evidence of voter fraud. We shouldn't be changing the rules of an election 6 months before an election. That seems nonsensical. You can say the same for about literally any, I don't care if they're Republican, Democrat. If you want to change the rules, you want mail-in voting, you got to do it beforehand. Pandemics happen. You can't argue, but we're in an emergency now. Yeah, okay, well then where's your emergency provision for how elections are dealt with during an emergency? You can't just sign an executive decree and mail out ballots and be like, we've changed the whole thing. So this is a person who says, I don't need to see the evidence. I'm just going to whinge.
That's what's happening nowadays.
I like it.
Yeah, that's the thing to do.
Hey, and you know what, man? Let's do this. Let's jump to this UBI thing. I want to talk about. Do I have this? Let's talk about universal basic income and Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Starship Troopers?
Yeah.
Service guarantees.
We've talked about it a lot on the show, actually.
Have we? Service
Yeah,
guarantees
comes up
citizenship.
a lot. Yeah.
Service guarantees citizenship.
Yeah, basically, right?
Oh, there we go. So here's what I was getting to, right? So in the previous segment, we're talking about you have a bunch of people who refuse to read evidence, who refuse to watch videos, and just want to be angry. And these people vote. And that voting impacts how society functions. And they vote for people who exploit their unwillingness to actually read and understand and engage. So the example I used was someone who said, like someone sends them a video of like, here's Tim's opinion. And they go, let me stop you right there. I don't need to watch a video.
It may prove me wrong, so I'm not going to watch it.
It's not even that. It's like people.
Oh, that's in there.
They're just, their brains are closed. Like, I know. I don't need anybody to show me anything. I know. And that person goes and votes. So that gets me thinking, like, I'm for the most part not in favor of the Starship Troopers argument about service guaranteed citizenship.
Okay.
But I think it's an interesting idea we're talking about.
Or just the simple right to vote if you serve.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, it's one thing to become a citizen, but then you can be a citizen, but then have the ability to vote. I know they're not exactly the same thing. It's almost
for those that aren't familiar with Starship Troopers, it's basically like everyone has equal rights, but only citizens vote. What are they called? Civilians and citizens, right?
Oh, okay.
Is that what it was? I think it was.
Man, it's been too long since I've seen this movie.
And the book apparently was like a lot better, but basically all the civilians have equal rights, free speech, whatever. If you want to vote, you have to sign up for, I think, was it 2 years?
I think so, yeah.
And then after 2 years, you become a citizen, and now you enjoy, the right to vote and run for office and elect people. And it's funny because a lot of people on the left have claimed Starship Troopers is a model of fascism, where it's like you have to serve the military before. But I don't think that's even true for the book. I think it was like civil service, not military service.
Oh, okay.
I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I don't know. I want to talk about universal basic income, but I'll first ask you, what do you think about that idea?
Well, I mean, what would be a civil service? Like working at the post office, or
I guess DMV, maybe
DMV. So working a regular job that is in the government, something, working on roads, fixing roads, cleaning up the side of the highway, like what, that kind of stuff.
Probably.
I mean, something like that,
and that could include military service.
Okay.
But military service doesn't mean combat. That's a lot of people don't understand too. They think it means you're going to go out with a gun. And so like that's actually the response I got from Cameron Kasky. I don't know if you know who he is. He's one of the survivors from Parkland who did like a big press. He got a bunch of press after Parkland, the Parkland shooting.
Oh,
he's a cool dude. I think he's a cool dude. But his response to me. So here's what I said. What if universal basic income came with mandatory civil service? The Army is recruiting and they pay your bills and college, right? I wasn't saying everyone should have to join the Army in order to get universal basic income. I was making a point about how there is an easy path to getting government wages, college, healthcare, and join the Army. You know what I mean?
True.
It's one example of civil service. His response was, let's throw free speech in there too. Why have the right to speak if you haven't almost been killed? And there's a lot wrong with his immediate response. It's like, first of all, a lot of people in the Army are like desk clerks. You know what I mean? It's like, you know the story of the Covington kids?
Mm-mm.
The kids who were standing on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial.
Oh, and
Native Americans banging the drum.
They were wearing MAGA hats.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Native American guy was like, I'm a Vietnam era veteran. Yeah, he was a refrigerator repairman in like Tulsa or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, do you know what city he was in?
I don't know.
Yeah, he was just like a refrigerator repairman. People seem to think that like joining the Army means they're like parachuting you into Afghanistan.
Vietnam era.
Yeah, Vietnam era, because
Indeed.
he didn't actually do anything.
Didn't do anything.
And he got like discharged. I don't know what happened to that guy. But that's like the immediate reaction people have. They assume like any service to the government is like, I don't know, death patrol or something.
Yeah.
So for those that aren't familiar with what universal basic income is, I assume most of you are. It's a guaranteed income from the government. So I asked a question. That's it. I didn't say we should do it this way. It should be this way. I was like, what if? What if UBI was mandatory civil service? Meaning everybody got a guaranteed wage, and then you had to do some kind of civil service for some kind of period. I didn't even say what. It was just a question.
I think that would raise the general, what's the term I'm looking for? Just respect for your land and your neighbor, because doing civil service, you're helping others. That's essentially what it is, So I feel a lot of people kind of lose themselves in just maintaining their own personal lives, and they don't let others affect them. They don't care about other people. They just do their own thing, and that tends to lead to things that people get greedy, whatever. I'm sure there's many different ways, but the more you help others, the more empathy you gain. And I think that's a big problem with humans nowadays.
For sure. I think if there was like, I think we used to have more community-based programs, and now everything's fractured. It's
Exactly.
weird.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like virtual.
Yeah, we need that back.
But here's what I was thinking about
community.
this, right? I'm thinking about civil service and universal basic income. And what's really funny is the resistance from those who would typically support UBI.
Okay.
How dare you tell me I would have to work to receive money?
Well, that's kind of
It
telling.
should be a right. A universal, I'm like, and there we go.
Yeah. Okay.
Listen,
It should be a right to live for free.
if you don't want to give, why
What?
should you get?
Yeah, I agree
Someone
with that.
has so the point I made in
Someone's
response to
gotta
him
work.
is free speech costs nothing. Burgers require human labor. So should people have to contribute in order to receive? If not, then where do the burgers come from? If you have 100 people and 100 of them are saying, I would like a burger, but none of them want to work, then there's no burgers.
Yeah.
It's that simple. So I was thinking, like, Andrew Yang has talked about universal basic income being opt-in. If you do, you forego other benefits.
Right.
And so it can actually cut a lot of costs.
That does make sense, actually.
It doesn't necessarily cover the total cost of UBI.
Okay.
However, if not everybody signed up for it, then you might actually be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the challenge, I guess, is, for one, it's definitely a huge government, massive expansion of power and authority and stuff like that, for sure.
That's a good point.
Yeah, definitely. But it's not necessarily bad if it's run, locally and independently locally or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless of the merit of whether it's good, bad, the point is it makes infinitely more sense that if the government's just going to be giving you money, you should do something for it. In which case, it's just a national jobs program.
Yeah, basically.
You know what I mean? And then it's like the green. But I'll tell you what. Are you familiar with the Green New Deal?
A little bit.
Yeah. So it was like, guaranteed income for those unwilling to work was one of the things they put in their document. That's the one they pulled, though, right? They panicked and were like, they got rid of it.
Like, oh, it wasn't really our idea.
Yeah. So Ocasio-Cortez puts out a frequently asked questions, and it's like, we're gonna give income to people unwilling to work. That's the extent they go. And I'm like, isn't the compromise just create like a federal jobs program where, what if we did like bounties? You know what I mean? Like there could be like a community center where if like people who work in government, there could be a task required, they'd have a set budget, and they would say, here's a job that needs to be done. And then it would pay a set rate, and you could go in and do like freelance government, contributions or civil service or something. Yeah.
I don't know.
Otherwise, what? We just give people free stuff?
I mean, someone can mop a floor, and someone could do a terrible job at mopping the floor. I'm just using mopping the floor as a random idea, but it's like, not everyone's going to do the job well. It's like they could mop half the floor and be like, yeah, I did it. Sure. Give me my income now. Yeah, it's clean.
You wanna hear-
Sure. Whatever.
Right. So in that case, you end up not actually getting anything done.
Exactly. Then
It doesn't
the
work.
government's spending money
doesn't-
for people like, yeah, I did the job. And
So
then
like-
it ends up being like, they didn't even do the job. They just clicked that they did it, and then they're getting paid. And then it's like,
Somebody
I don't know.
actually responded with that they were like, that what happens then is the government hires a bunch of kids to dig holes and a bunch of other kids to fill the holes that they just dig.
Yeah.
They just dug.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You want to hear one of the crazier ideas that may be crazy like Fox is paying people who commit crimes. Yeah. That's the punishment. If you commit a crime, they give you money.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's
Have you heard that?
Not a very good
No,
incentive.
how does that work?
The argument is that it costs us like, $30,000 a year to house an inmate.
Okay.
And if a lot of these crimes are property crimes as the result of poverty, we're better off giving them strict restrictions, like you got to check in, you got to do these things, and then we'll give you cash. Paying criminals not to commit crime is cheaper than actually putting them in jail, and it actually stops the crime.
I like that.
Isn't that weird?
That
That's
does
crazy.
work.
I
yeah.
mean, why wouldn't we go into that? Think about that. That's
Because
pretty
then you
legit.
encourage people to just become criminals for income.
Or not be criminals. I mean, yeah,
No,
no, you're right.
Right.
I see what you're
That's a
saying.
good
Yeah.
point.
So it's people have these funny ideas where you think about it and you're like, I get it, and then think about what that means.
wait.
It's like, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I get it. You're right.
You're gonna end up with like, I heard there's a meme about Scandinavians who want to go to jail because it's awesome.
Because it's
awesome.
nice there.
Yeah, have you heard that? Because
interesting.
you
Actually, it's funny that you say that because there's a jail that's for sale in where her parents live, and it's like right in the middle of town, and I'm looking at the building. It's beautiful. They got TVs in their room. Everyone's got a nice window. on like the third or fourth floor,
Well,
overlooking the water.
You got to give context to her, so you can just.
So this is my wife. This is a small town in Sweden. It's in some islands, so it's like right in the middle of an island. It's right in the entrance of the town, and
it's like a luxury
it's
resort.
beautiful. I mean, it's for sale. It's like it could be in like a dope Airbnb, but it's a jail. But I'm looking at it, I'm like, that does not look like a jail. Like all the rooms are fairly large.
Yeah.
For what you would expect a jail cell to look like, and it's like
in America,
it doesn't look like a cell.
So interestingly, one of the arguments for universal basic income is that it would reduce crime because it would reduce poverty.
Okay.
So it's interesting, and I see this. This is one of the biggest problems just people in general have. Yes, poverty breeds crime. That doesn't necessarily mean giving criminals money will stop crime.
Well, that's kind of like, isn't that kind of like saying that if you just give a homeless person a house, you'll solve the problem? I don't actually see that solving the problem because there might actually be some underlying issues that aren't just not having a house.
I see another problem is we don't teach, even, whatever class you're in, we're not teaching kids like about money. I didn't learn about money in my school. So like, and especially probably in these poverty areas, they're not like teaching like, all right, so if you make some money, don't just go buy stuff. You need to invest properly. Think about what you need in your life. Like this isn't something that we're even talking about. It's like that also is part of the problem.
Dude.
They get money from the government and like, oh, I'll go buy a new TV instead of you need to use that for what you need to use it for, to pay your rent, to make sure you're eating food correctly, furthering yourself instead of just being part of the system that they want. That's what they want.
This is why the question, what if, is so important in any discussion, right? And that's why I tweeted, what if? I'm not saying...
And you get a bunch of emotions being thrown back at you.
Anger and people like,
defensiveness.
Because this is why I find myself in a milquetoast fence-sitting position.
Yeah.
Dude, there's so much involved in what could happen and what needs to happen before any kind of major overhaul of any kind of program. Mm-hmm. No one can predict or calculate. So you sit down with a bunch of people, you talk about it, and if eventually you say, I think we've covered as many bases as possible, let's do a trial run. Well, there you go. If one person just comes out and demands income for people unwilling to work, it's like, dude, you can't just throw a wrench into an engine. You'll break it. It's not going to change. It's like, I think this cog would go good here. Smash.
Yeah,
like,
especially when there's like millions and millions and millions of pieces to this engine, which is America, Yeah.
And so that's grinding and everything's going crazy. Mm-hmm. But I just thought of something when you mentioned that school. What if public schools paid kids for A's, good grades, but it wasn't, they just give them cash. They basically can buy things within the school.
Or give them credit for
school,
college.
It's like school credits.
Like a future, you're investing in your future. If you get all A's, you're going to get a percentage off whatever college you go to.
No. That's I don't.
I'm just spitballing here.
What I'm trying to say is a school would have a local commissary or something.
Okay.
Candy bars, sodas, lunches.
Sure.
And the school will say, for every A you get on a test, you earn 5 school credits, and 5 school credits is the equivalent of $1 or something.
Okay.
Then the kids actually have an account. They can look at their accounts. They can balance their accounts. They can see what they can spend on. They can trade credits between each other, actually give them an understanding of how money works, how to save money.
I love it.
The schools could have like an interest system. It's not real cash. It's just like the school could spend, $1,000, a month on like and it could be pens and pencils and erasers and staplers.
Yeah, things they need.
Yep.
I like that.
And then a kid could be like, I got an A on every test in my class. Now I can go get that, candy bar I wanted.
I like that.
Make them actually work and get some benefit from their work and understand the real value of work and what they can buy with it. Instead, what do? We put kids in institutionalized learning facilities where everything is provided for them.
Yep.
And then finally, by the time they graduate with their degree at 22 after college, they're like, tell me what to do, boss.
What do I do, boss?
Why isn't the government...
I need you to do this. Do your job.
Yeah.
That's why I hired you.
And then they vote for communism.
Right.
Because they're like, my entire existence was in a room where someone told me what to do and provided for me.
Yep.
Why should I have to figure out how to make food?
That's what I want.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
That's why all these college kids come out and they're like, communism.
Yes.
The authority. You know what's crazy though?
What?
I think the general idea of communism can only be bred from children. From the immature. There's a better way to put it. Children is just me doing an emotional dig at these people because I think they're...
Yeah, okay.
So I think one of the things we see with millennials is that they never feel like they're ready to take over. And the best example of this is our 3 or 4 70-year-old, 80-year-old presidential figures.
Yep. Good
now,
point.
Tulsi Gabbard, awesome. Pete Buttigieg, awesome. Andrew Yang, awesome.
He's in his 30s, right? Late 30s?
Buttigieg.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Buttigieg and Tulsi are both like 37, 38.
That's awesome.
I think. Yang is what? Yang's in his 40s?
That's what we need. Younger blood.
Barely.
Younger blood in the government.
It's fair to say we have a decent amount of political candidates, who are younger.
Yeah.
But I think because of how millennials view themselves, their children, not everybody, like, clearly, not us and not probably people watching, to be honest.
Yeah.
But a lot of them do. They've never grown up. They've never become adults.
Mm-hmm. They don't want to, more importantly.
Definitely.
Yeah.
They have zero interest. It's way easier.
Yeah, it's scary.
They want Grandpa Bernie to take care of you.
Yeah.
Grandpa Bernie. Bernie's like, I'm going to get your dinner for you. I'm going to pay for your school.
I'm going to give you ice cream.
You know what my whole life has been?
Man, you're so right about that. That's true.
It's true, yeah.
I've got to figure out how to... Look, dude, we have a garden in the back.
Yeah.
What do we grow? We grew radishes.
We have radishes.
And chives.
We have carrots. We have chives.
You know what the craziest thing? What was that sketch? I don't know if you've ever seen it, where it's this British dude and he looks over and it's on a camera and he goes, hey, you want to hear a way to get rich quick? Check it out. I got these seeds, right? You put them in the ground. That's it. Put some water on them. Food grows up. You can sell it. It grows right out of the ground, just like that. You don't got to do anything. And it's like, has someone ever...
Genius.
Have these young people ever realized that?
Nope.
But they're so used to, in my opinion, things being given to them that they don't have a concept of how to make, create, source, or be independent.
Yep.
And so they're not. And so they need someone to do things for them. It's like, have you ever solved a problem on your own? They haven't.
And now you think about what our last subject about the SJW clickbaity things that everyone's spreading around on the internet, and it's like that's reaffirming their beliefs that they're owed stuff, that they should get all this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just this whole cycle is just never ending and getting worse and worse and worse.
It's a problem of human, it's like just human nature. It's this cycle. Yeah. It's like Unilever owns both Dove and Ben & Jerry's.
Yeah. Exactly.
And Dove does the Real Beauty campaign where it's like, you can be overweight, it's no big deal. And then their other property is ice cream, and they're like, eat more ice cream.
And they also own like the lactose medicine for your belly.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah.
It's like you just sell it in one pack.
Yeah. You know why I always thought that we drink Coke sodas with our Big Macs and fries?
Why?
Because you're eating a big pile of garbage and slogging up your system, so you need a psychoactive stimulant to get you back to feeling normal.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
Think about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, it's like a burger is trash, and you eat it, and you're like, oh, I feel terrible. Let me take my caffeine, which is a psychoactive stimulant, very similar to cocaine, and you drink a gallon of it. And then you've got,
I can handle anything now.
Yes. Yeah, caffeine makes you euphoric.
Well,
it enhances muscle endurance, makes you less tired. So you eat trash and then drug yourself to feel better. That's like,
I don't like that.
That's just like people got to eat better, dude.
That's a whole nother subject. I feel
totally different.
But it's an example of how glutton culture expands and comes to this point where you literally have people who are morbidly obese and unhealthy being told by the media it's okay to be morbidly obese and unhealthy and eat trash.
You're beautiful.
You're being oppressed, actually. You take no responsibility for your health. And look, I'll tell you what. Is what I always clarify. If you know the risks and choose to do it, I don't care.
Right.
But if you think you have no responsibility for your own health and then demand I pay for your health care,
I have issues with that.
Perfect example of these people. Dude, let me go out into the woods with a dog. I'll build my own log cabin. Leave me alone. You people have lost your minds. And they just don't want to work. And it's like they just drag everybody down. That's probably one of the most, like, people are going to be like, oh, man, Tim's going crazy. Red pill law. He's so conservative. Look, at a certain point, what's the saying? If you're not liberal when you're young, you have no heart. And if you're not conservative when you're older, you have no head. Brain. Well, head is better. It's like,
heart and head.
Little alliterative, I guess. But it's not even about that. I think that saying comes from the fact that when these young people finally get their first paycheck and see how much taxes they had to give away, they're like, what? Why? And they start asking questions.
Now that's a red pill.
How much of my money went to killing kids?
Yeah.
Ooh, no, thank you.
Most
Wait,
of it.
I got to pay for that guy's health care? He's smoking a pack a day.
Yeah.
Come on, man. And
eating McDonald's at every meal.
100 pounds.
Dude, I feel like
chugging the Coca-Cola.
It's the best way to, like, these young people haven't experienced someone refusing to take responsibility and then demanding they cover for them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because they're the ones constantly demanding.
They become that person.
It's getting really bad to the point where, like, you have these kids in schools where you might argue, were you ever in a lab where you had a partner and the lab partner did no work?
Oh yeah.
And you're like, and we're going to fail unless you help. It's like, I'll do this, whatever. And you're like, oh, and then you end up doing all the work.
I have. Yeah.
That'll turn you into a young conservative for sure. But now the kids are just complaining to the teachers they shouldn't have to do it at all. And they're calling teachers racist. And the teachers are like, okay, I'm sorry. Class is canceled.
All right. You all get A's.
Yep. Yeah, they're literally doing that. And they're arguing now with their dogma that like teachers should give better grades for like diversity and inclusion.
And wait, you didn't? We're canceling you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the students will straight up cancel. It's happened, right?
It happens
You
to
know, Brett
professors,
Weinstein, it's like one of the funniest stories is that they started spreading lies about him. And he's like a progressive lefty guy. And so he's like, some people approached him. I can't remember exactly what happened, but they were calling him like a bigot and a racist. And then he actually started arguing for them, like saying it's humans have inherent bigotry and racism where it's because I don't want to put words in his mouth, but basically the idea as I understand it is humans have a tendency to feel safer around things that are familiar. So they look for people who look like them. So if you try very hard to break down our inherent biases, and they're like, what? But you're the white supremacist. Like when their brains go and you're just broken. Yeah. But you know,
it's a fun image.
Yeah. There's a lot to complain about, I guess. We just a random rant today, huh?
Yeah.
Just like
that's
randomly.
Yeah, whatever.
Because here we are now with everything locked down, and it all stems from, you know, it's I feel kind of sad. It's like you lose a friend to a cult, you know?
That's hard.
Yeah.
They
That's
say
what it feels
things
like, yeah.
They say things that clearly make no sense. And when you try talking to them, like, listen, let me just ask you one question. The government should provide the food. Where does the food come from?
The farmers.
From the government. I know, but like the government has to get the food from somewhere, right?
Right, yeah.
Well, they just have it. Like, what's your answer? From the farmers. Okay. Where do the farmers get the resources to make the food? Oh, like you said, dude, the food just grows out of the ground. Yeah. Who puts it there? Who pulls it out?
Who's actually doing it for you?
Driving the truck.
Right.
They actually have like automatic trucks, like tractors now that like drive and do it themselves. Pretty cool.
True.
But
they have to charge those trucks.
That's the real argument for UBI, in my opinion. That's why I like Andrew Yang. Automation is a real argument. Like, what happens when the factories are totally automated?
That's a good point.
Like the farms are.
Granted, we're not there yet, but we are heading there, certainly.
Yeah. So this is why, I ask these questions, because I think the biggest challenge from going from our current capitalistic system to a post-scarcity system, should we ever, it's the middle period where there's a hybrid of it. This is one of the things I brought up on the Rogan podcast last month. We're going to end up with a period where there's people who have to work and people who can't.
Yeah.
What happens when 90% of your population doesn't have to work and 10% does? Kind of like what we're seeing with essential workers.
Yeah.
People have to go out and do all this hard work while we get a $600 bonus for not working.
That's exactly what's happening.
That's like kicking them in the balls.
Yeah.
Being like, you work for less.
Yeah.
We are going to watch watch TV and play video games for the next 2 months and get extra money to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
And the extra money thing is like part of the problem. But either way, it's like, could you imagine living in a society where you had a surf class that had to do the labor while you didn't? It's like the Hunger Games.
Yeah, it does feel like it.
I understand it's kind of honorable. We're going to have UBI and we're going to get to that point where everybody is free. Never going to happen, bro.
Oh, they're all heroes for working. Good job, heroes. I'm going to go back to watching my YouTube videos.
And we're going to pay them less.
Here's the best part. You guys ready for this? And then we should definitely take super chats.
Yes.
While they're advocating for UBI in America, they ignore every other country. So I'll give you this example. Let's say America right now enacted UBI. Okay. Everyone in this country got $2,000 a month, $2,000. So you know what happens? This, SJW type whatever is all like, this is the money I'm owed. And they order a Samsung or an Apple product off the internet.
Yep.
And they give that sweet, sweet money to Apple. Then Apple takes that money, counts it, smiles, and then presses the button at the Foxconn factory where people on the roofs are walking off en masse committing suicide because they're basically slaves crammed in boxes.
Yep.
You can have your UBI, and the things you buy will come from countries that basically treat people like slaves. When we got to get the raw materials for the products you consume in America as a wealthy country, sure, we're a wealthy nation. We can spread the wealth all around to each and every one of you. And then you need to realize the microphones you get, the computers you get, are composed of products and elements that are mined from the earth. I watched a documentary about dudes mining sulfur and their teeth fall out of their mouth. They're like 26.
It's crazy.
They jam rags in their mouths because we don't want to do it. So these people who are like, it's only fair that we get money. It's like, well, what about the people in these countries that are like enslaved?
Yeah, the reason your phone is even under $1,000 is because they got it made in another country that's dirt cheap, where they're paying nothing. No, the people working on them nothing. so they can make a killer profit on you.
That's, to them, is okay. And that exposes everything about this fake ideology.
Yep. I
shouldn't have to work in exchange for the money. And then when I get it, I don't care if other people at the Foxconn labs are enslaved. I have a friend, and I was talking about this, and I said, I don't believe you genuinely want to fix the world the way you describe it. I think what you really want to do is save your town, your friends, and your family. And she was like, that's not true. I'm here fighting for everybody. I was like, no, it's not. You've got a Samsung computer that's made at the Foxconn lab. Those people are committing suicide in mass. And she was like, well, they are? And I'm like, you didn't even bother to read this? You don't know about it? Listen, man, you tell me you want to fight for the world. I hear you. It's idealistic. I get it. But you've done no research on what's going on in the world. You have done no research to source where your tools and your wealth comes from. And you're acting like you're in this, marginalized position while you're on top of the world, exploiting these underprivileged people around the planet. And to you, that's okay.
Yep.
Nah, man.
Have you ever seen The Good Place?
Yeah.
So, I mean, a little bit of spoilers. It's kind of an old show, but basically everyone's going to hell. There hasn't been someone to go into heaven for like hundreds and hundreds of years. And they're like, when they find out, they like try to go to the judge, and they're like, well, look what's happening. This person buys an apple, and that apple was from a country and whatever, and it was exploitation. Awesome. And the judge was like, well, they can search that information, can't they? And they're not. So whatever, let them go to hell. And it's like, it's got a point.
That's exactly it. Look, I get it, man. You can improve things in your own country. Mm-hmm. But it's funny to me that, like, I'm fully accepting of all this stuff. Like, I get it. And that's part of what gives me my worldview. Like, this thing right here, what is this thing? Yeah. This is the thing we use to spin the UFO. It's an air duster.
I'm sure we'll use it in a little bit.
I bet this thing, it's made in China.
Of course it is.
And it's probably made by some dude who's wearing, cargo shorts covered in oil and dirt in his bare feet. Yep. And he's assembling things with like a little handy screwdriver, and he gets paid like $1 a day. And then we get to have our cheap products. Maybe we should be more conscious. I think the polls have shown most people don't want to buy stuff made from China anymore. It's a good thing.
On that note, I've been saying, like, let's bring it back to America. And someone argued it to me, and they were saying about, well, the minimum wage, products would be more expensive. Yep. And I said, good. That'll stop this I use fast fashion because it's pretty much across the board of everything. Everything is cheap. We need to bring it back to having quality products. I've had the same phone for 4 years. I don't plan on getting a new phone. I don't need to get a new phone. This phone is great. It works for me.
Don't update it.
I'm certainly not. Well, actually, I could, because it doesn't include the new contact trace and stuff.
No.
What? It does?
It'll slow the phone down so you can't use it anymore.
I thought that was illegal. Didn't
Apple
they?
Does that.
I thought Apple.
Think they still do that.
No, they got sued for it, didn't they?
Yeah. That's the story I heard.
Well, either way, that's regardless. It's like, if we make quality products that last a long time, we can spend more money because we're not replacing it every year. We're not having to replace it. It just lasts. And then we can even fix it,
Yep.
I don't understand how that doesn't come into play when people are talking about American-made products. It's like, I have a friend who made a new clothing company. It's called 1620. I just ordered some awesome product. They don't endorse this or anything. I'm just giving them a shout out. It's guaranteed for life. And get a pair of pants. If it falls apart, send it to them. They'll fix them or send you a new pair. It's like, that's what I'm talking about. They're a little expensive, but it's worth it, because I've been wearing the same clothes. I wear the same clothes. I don't need new clothes. It's like, once my clothes fall apart, I'll get new clothes. It's like, there's a mentality thing that needs to change.
I guess one of the challenges, you can't get past evil people. Like, they will exist.
Greed. Yeah.
They will exist. They
Profits.
will exploit. And I was thinking about, you mentioned this, there's fake photos that go around of Trump hats.
Okay.
And then someone will hold it and they'll flip it over and it'll say made in China. Yeah. Those are fake.
Really?
They're fake hats specifically made to lie about the president.
Makes sense.
Of course Trump makes his stuff in America, dude.
Yeah.
There was like some news outlet did a tour of like the Trump hat factory, and it's like all the MAGA hats, all the Trump hats.
Yeah.
That's the smear. These people are evil. They do it because they want quick access to power. Anybody who comes to you and says, I should be able to have all of your resources but not do work for it, question this person.
Or to cancel the people in power that are challenging their ways.
That's the way to get the power.
I'll tell you one quick story, and then we'll jump to the super chats. Because I was down at Occupy Wall Street, and I had some people tell me this. The goal was to flip the pyramid. You know the pyramid?
Yeah.
You got the working class, you got the merchant class, you got the bourgeoisie, whatever. They said, we're going to flip it over. And I said, does that mean that the, like landlords and owners will be on the bottom with the least amount? and that the working class will be on top? Or does it mean that when you flip the pyramid over, the bricks all tumble down and it forms a new heap in the shape of a broken pyramid with at least one or two former working class people on top, right?
Basically,
and they said, that's exactly it. They did not expect, and this is a couple of activists, they did not expect the pyramid to flip over and stay perfectly like a perfect structure.
Yeah.
They expected it to flip over and then all the bricks tumble down and then it becomes a jagged, broken heap with them on top.
What's that saying? You got to break a few eggs?
Well, it's like, yeah, you have a perfect pyramid. It's designed, it's very pretty, and there's some things missing, and it's kind of gross. They want to destroy everything that meant that they would be the ones in power. And then everyone else falls down to the bottom again.
All I can think of is your song, The Will of the People.
Exactly.
It's just the next person's going to step up and get that power, get a taste of it, and want more of it, and then become the top of the pyramid.
Yep.
It's the same thing. It is.
Yeah.
And everyone, when you, this is how you get civil war. When you have these Karens on Facebook inundated with all this intersectionality garbage, they're convinced this worldview is true and just.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they body snatches you. And then they attack you, they get violent, and they've done it. So now when you have people screeching and reeing about not wearing a mask, it's like, dude, I get it. You're like, I have no problem wearing a mask. But this video is ridiculous. Like, what made these people go insane? If you see someone not wearing a mask, walk away.
Yeah.
Like, what gives?
Don't get in his face and yell at him,
dude. It's mob mentality.
It's supposed to. The masks are supposed to prevent close proximity, spit or whatever. You're getting in their face. You're increasing your chance. If they have something or you have some, you're increasing the chances of it spreading.
Like the people who rushed full speed into the stores to grab the toilet paper when a pandemic was
fighting, out. Slapping each other.
What are you doing?
I know, it's a pandemic.
Now here's the best part.
Oh,
the
man.
last part, we'll jump over to Super Chats, is these same people saying, I can't believe how dumb these people are. They would, someone tweeted, you're really going to risk everyone's life so you can go to Taco Bell? I'm like, I saw that tweet, I kid you not, and I was like, oh no. Okay, dude, first, Taco Bell never closed, all right? Taco Bell's running drive-thrus. No one's risking anything by going to Taco Bell. Second of all, you didn't even read any of the science that's come out so far. That has said the lockdown may have backfired, the lockdown wasn't effective, that certain countries that didn't lock down did better. And now we have the New York Times straight up saying Democrat areas did worse than Republican areas. Republican areas were less likely to lock down and less scared of this. Yet they still don't read a single thing. And they're like, we're the smart ones.
Emotions.
Yep. My tribe is correct. We've done no research. Let me stop you there. I don't need to actually read any of this research, these studies, or these newspapers because I know what's best. You, on the other hand, refuse to accept science.
It's a good Karen.
It's like, oh my God, dude, listen.
Karen Poole.
And so I think conservatives have been really lucky that they've fallen on the right side of this more often than not.
Yep.
And it's partly due, I think, to the fact that conservative media is more critical and analytical. But you certainly have a lot of people on the right who don't want to read either. It just so happens that, like, everybody was, when it came to Russiagate, it was all tribalism.
Yep.
There were a lot of people who fell on the right because Russiagate was nonsense. And it was, like, confusingly, like, what is this weird conspiracy garbage?
Yeah, we're finding out that it's not even true. And even still, they bring it up.
Right.
It's been debunked.
Proven, like,
it's been debunked
endlessly.
And they still use it. Like, Russiagate. And it's like, what? What are you? Oh, you're living in a hole, right? The SJW hole. Okay, go and stay there.
Well, they're the resistance.
Okay,
I think there's one really funny point. Someone tweeted, they were like, "Isn't it funny that the group that called themselves the resistance immediately buckled down to bend over for the government the moment they said stay in your home?"
Yeah,
that's right. Some resistance you got there.
Right.
Stunningly brave.
Yeah, man.
All right.
It's particularly frustrating because to loop it all back and tie with a nice little bow, my friend coming to me saying, we need to have government guarantees and going full SJW, and I'm like, nothing I could send you, no amount of proof. And you know what it is? There really are grifters. I'm not going to name these people, but I've been having a tiff with someone, and like it's become apparent to me. It's like, dude, are you faking this? Like
you think it's true? You think
absolutely.
That's what's happening?
There's I know some people who are lying about everything.
Do you think it's just to fit in to their surrounding?
Money.
Okay.
They accuse me of the same thing. They say Tim only has his opinions. The funniest thing to me is when they say that I used to be like lefty and then became right wing. I'm like, bro,
you're not right wing.
I was at Occupy Wall Street, and in 2011, I said to them, you shouldn't be making decisions based on race. In 2011, it's 2020. you shouldn't be making decisions based on race.
Your words, people. Your words.
No.
No, I know, but that's
Right.
that's the thing. It's like back in 2011, that's what you were saying.
When I worked for Fusion, I made some points about like journalism, and it was like stuff dealing with Gamergate and men's rights. And my approach was we should interview, the activists on both sides of the issue, and they were like, that's white supremacy. And so then because of some video that we promoted that mocked political correctness, they started behind the scenes calling me a white supremacist. And I'm
really,
like, bro, I didn't. Yeah, it's funny. It's like white people.
Yeah.
White people telling the mixie over here.
Mixie.
And that's what's funny to me. It's like, bro, you guys are so racist, dude. I'm not even here. They tell me I changed, and I'm like, oh, sorry, dude. Like, I've been listening to George Carlin, Joe Rogan, Dave Chappelle, Ricky Gervais. Have not changed my, some of my opinions have changed for sure, but for the most part, these people have gone nuts. Anyway, there's the whole hour and a half rant for whatever reason. We're going to read super chats.
Before we do, I just want to give a shout out to everyone in the service to our country. I mean, today is Memorial Day after all.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, my brother's in the service. He's in the Marines, and we have so many people have died for us and our country. And this is not a partisan issue. I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, if you are against the wars that they're fighting, they're still out there fighting and dying for us. So I just want to give mad respect to all those people that are currently fighting for us, have fought for us in the past, that are still with us, have died for us, and thank you, because everyone tries to make it, something other than what it is. And I don't care if you agree with the wars or not, you're still out there fighting for us. I really appreciate you. So thank you.
Amen.
Yeah. Here.
Yeah.
For me, like one of the biggest factors for a president is that they've served. Straight up.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons I like Tulsi Gabbard. Plus, her anti-war stance, anti-regime change war stuff.
Yeah. Half the time, it doesn't look like Trump enjoys his job even, but he's doing it. It's like
he does golf a lot.
Yeah.
I don't care.
How dare he golf?
First time in 3 months this time.
Oh, wow.
That's a good point. Yeah, since February, right?
Yeah, it's been super busy.
I'm so over like every complaint, every time it's like, shut up. Unless you're going to come to me and say Trump, was like boiling babies or something. I'm not interested. Oh, what's that? You said you'd vote for Joe Biden even if he did. Did you see that article?
Which one?
The woman who said she'd vote for Joe Biden even if he was boiling babies and eating them.
God.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't understand it.
Yep.
Clearly, why? Biden can do no wrong and Trump can only do wrong.
Right.
I'm out.
Yeah.
You're not being honest. All right, we got to read some of these super chats now.
Right.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
IB Rippenham says, I've been diagnosed with rancid 19, the world's most dangerous fart disease. Cuomo will have me arrested if I fart within 6 feet of another person.
Well, that's understandable.
Careful, IB.
Carson Snachik says, are you going to talk about the escalating tension in Kashmir? Even China is getting involved. Looks like conflict is looming. I will check that out. Kyle Buchanan says, y'all three have a wonderful Memorial Day and remember why we celebrate it. Star Trek or Halo to be the future of humanity. Lydia, stay beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
David Caballero says, hey guys, what are your thoughts on Eurovision? I had the Icelandic song Think About Things stuck in my head all weekend.
Eurovision is not a thing in the States.
I don't know what that is.
I actually know
all
about
Idol.
I know all about it because I actually lived in Sweden here periodically over the past couple years, so I've been privy to it. And there's some good music that comes out of it. There was that metal band, I think from Poland or something, that did awesome, or maybe, I don't know if it's where they were from, but they won a few years back, and it was like some awesome metal music, and it's crazy. There's no genre that does better. It's always the musicians that are good. So I haven't seen anything. This must be some of the new Eurovision stuff that's going on right now. I don't know anything about it, but I'll check it out. Think About Things. Is that the name of the song there? Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Cool. Right on.
Ben Ritter says, have you had a chance to try Election Year Knockout? A Steam version is coming soon too. Unfortunately, I have not, but
haven't.
We'll try. I mean, you should play it.
Is it fun?
I work nonstop. No, I don't know. I just haven't had a chance. Mr. Self-Aware, thanks for becoming a member.
Thank you.
Super Bam Bam says, did you see that Kroger is demanding associates to pay back hazard pay and is sending it to collections and everything? I saw that.
That's messed up.
Talk about like sacrificing all goodwill you may have had for anything.
I respected that for a while.
Yikes, man.
Yikes.
Samuel Williams, the founding father, says, when I hear you say you want Dems to nominate an old school Dem, it's like watching a friend chase a girl that dumped him years ago, but he still keeps trying. Move on, bro. I did move on. That's the point. I think it was like 2 months ago. I was like, that's it. I'm done. I'm done.
I'm out.
I know. It's like being like in the friend zone. They keep goading you on and like, you know, they want you to be there for them, but they don't want to give you what you're asking for.
They're keeping you just in case.
And I realized, you know what? This relationship wasn't meant to be, because if they're not going to provide, if we're not working on it together, I'm not going to be that person. Podcastage says, thanks for continuing to sling that tent. Off-topic question: favorite band and album from that band? Muse, definitely. And I don't know if I have a favorite album from them, because I think we're beyond the era of albums for the most part, right?
No, I refuse to believe that. I love a really good album. Fear Inoculum, for example, incredible album. It fits Tool's, like, you know, I just posted about this the other day. It's such a good album from start to finish. It feels like a Tool album. It didn't feel like something new and different. It felt like I had been listening to this music for a long time. Now, I'm not saying that that's what I would pick, but man, that's the first thing that came to my mind. So I'll just go with that.
Weird little red things.
What are you talking
bugs.
Wait, what?
They're
bugs? What?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Bug.
I don't see them. Are you sure they're there? Or are you just seeing things?
I mushed them.
bugs.
I finished him off.
Oh, man.
They came out of the thing from China?
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
well,
no.
It was on the thing from China.
Bum, bum, bum.
This is how we die.
I think we'll be fine.
Oh, I hope so.
Drunk Shovel says, stuck working. I've had 8 customers in my shop in 8 hours. Thanks for keeping me company. I'm bored to tears.
Oh,
Oof.
gosh,
boy.
It's our pleasure.
Dude.
Goliog says, Tim, perform a Hillary-Trump debate, but you do all the voices.
Yes.
Did you ever see
That would be entertaining.
They staged a debate where they had a woman be Trump and a man be Hillary.
Interesting.
The argument was that Hillary only lost because she's a woman. So this performance group said, we're going to do the debate completely staged, but the woman character will be played by inverted the genders.
Interesting.
And guess what the audience thought?
Verbatim, like they just did the exact same.
It was a scripted event.
And?
The audience, who they were unfamiliar with the politics, said Hillary's character was snide and unlikable, and the woman was justified and, you know, strong and, you know, things like that.
Wow.
Yep. So it really was like, I mean, like the way Hillary acted was elitist, snooty, like.
Acted, past tense.
Continues to act.
Right.
Well, thankfully we don't have to see
Yeah,
her
sorry,
much
no.
anymore.
Oh, she's making a scene. For some reason,
she's
she keeps
around.
being poking her head on the scene nowadays.
Here's what I told.
I wonder why.
We were hanging out with Luke, and I told him, here's what's going to happen. Joe Biden's going to pick Hillary, then he's going to win, and then they're going to, like, I just imagine the scene where it's like Biden's in a wheelchair with his head drooped down, and he's got a blanket over his lap, and there's like a Secret Service guy, and he wheels him into the sunroom where he puts him up against a window, it's like a bookshelf, and the sun is, you know, just beaming down on Sleepy Joe, and he's asleep. And then Hillary, like, comes out of the shadows of the room, and she looks at the security guard, starts walking past him like this, and she goes, and just walks past him.
Oh,
and then
man.
the security guard pulls up, put on gloves, and then he pulls out a garrote wire, and that's just the end of it.
Oh my
President
gosh,
Hillary.
That's dark.
Very visual.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
I should make short films. It'd be
I
fun.
imagine
Yeah,
her
it'd
just
be
like
awesome.
appearing out of the shadows.
Like
Right.
and just like
worm
Like
cutting
she
his
walks
throat
out.
and then like going back into the shadows.
She's
like,
wearing
whoa.
gloves.
Yes.
She's like,
prepared.
no, but I like the idea of her looking at the Secret Service guy and going,
Yep.
like, making a nasty scowl and like, yeah.
Frightening.
And then it's like, and then like the next scene is like a newspaper, and it says, you know, Biden dies of old age. President Hillary, first female president. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yep. I don't think it's actually going to happen, though. I think he's going to pick Klobuchar or something. Kyle Buchanan says, my shirt just showed up. Harumph. Excellent.
Nice.
Yes. Send me pictures.
Awesome.
RoboFin says, what do you think about Halo MCC on PC? Also, China's taking advantage of coronavirus to bring Hong Kong into the fold.
Yeah, that
I don't know
whole
about
thing.
Halo.
I don't know
What's
much
Halo?
about the whole Hong Kong thing, but I was reading a little bit about it earlier.
Well, what about Halo? Do you know anything about Halo?
Not really. I played Halo 1 on Xbox One, and it was an awesome game. But
Well-
I played Destiny. That's a Bungie game.
China is trying to force Hong Kong, and it's creepy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
China's infiltrating and taking over, man. That's what they do. Fredfurter says, it is 8 p.m. on a federal holiday. Tim better be paying at least time and a half. Yep.
All right, noted.
Noted.
Duly noted.
Ekage says, Tim and crew are the only thing keeping me sane while I wait to ship out to Navy boot camp. Keep up the good work.
Oh,
Right
man,
on.
We
good
will
luck.
try.
That's hard work.
Thanks for your service.
Eric Heffelfinger. Any plans to do a 2020 election special? I would love to see you three react to at least the last hour of the final numbers coming in. I think we probably
Yeah,
would be.
that would be
It's not on the
so
weekend,
fun.
is it?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'll look up what date is it?
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll
look
do
it
that. Yeah, we'll do that. That sounds fun.
Hawkticus says, I'm going to go camping this week and hang out in the woods. Highly recommend. Helps you unwind. Definitely.
Sounds good.
Cordy says, listening to you while at work right now makes it more bearable. Appreciate it. Kyle with Super Chat says, you think that Trump will make it so that states cannot do mail-in voting if they want to bail out from the situation they got themselves into. I don't know what's going to happen, but I think mail-in voting is a last-ditch Hail Mary to try and win. They're changing the rules last minute. I don't like it.
I agree with that.
I mean, look, if we're in an emergency, emergencies happen, then you should have a bill prepared for when emergencies happen. Plan ahead, man.
Yeah.
Pyrocent. I love both of your guys' music so much. I remastered the songs to listen in my car. I can play music and would love to add guitar solos where appropriate. I wanted to ask permission first. Cheers. I'll tell you what.
That's cool.
Whatever you want. And then you can send it to, actually follow Adam.
Yeah.
Give your Twitter. What's your, Adam Krigler.
Yeah, there you go. You can see it. It's Adam Krigler, ADAMCRIGLER. And you can hit me up.
Send him whatever on Twitter. Make a link or something. You can follow me at Timcast as well.
On YouTube also. But if you tweet at me like, hey, here's this video I did or this song that I mastered, that'd be cool.
And you can also follow Sour Patch Lids.
Yes, you can. Here, hold on. Wait, this is me.
Yeah.
With an LYDS.
Yep, that's my name.
And also, thank you so much. That's really great.
That's awesome.
It's fun hearing feedback, and really appreciate. I love playing music for people who enjoy it, and that's makes it so much better.
We'll play more on Friday.
So, yep.
And smash that like button. Yes. Just smash it.
Just
smash
once.
that like button.
Just once.
Yeah.
Let's try and get to 50 billion likes.
Oh yeah.
50 billion or
50
bust.
billion.
Yes.
That means we need people to click it more than once.
And to come back from the dead.
Yeah, make new accounts. Jack Daw says, if you ever do decide to vote for Trump, please consider not telling us. I know we all want you to finally get on board, but you play a rather important role in the culture war, and remaining unaffiliated is a big part of that. But it's silly to make believe. I'm not going to do that, right? So the issue is, certainly many people on the left who are diehard Biden anti-Trump are assuming I've already voted for Trump in the first place. So what am I going to do? Like, if I vote for Trump, I'll say I voted for Trump. But we'll see how things play out. Colt says, the Nephilim are returning. Don't let them deceive you, Tim. I won't. Talbot says, y'all see Beijing finally made open and full claim over all Hong Kong rights, courts, and markets? Woo-hoo-hoo. It's going to get spicy.
Yeah, it is.
It's going to get spicy when they go for Taiwan. That's going to get nuts. That's the next move. They probably need Hong Kong because they want to control more of the coast.
Makes sense.
Before they can go to Taiwan. Cliff says, I love your Jamming Friday. Crowder has Mug Club. You and Adam should put out an EP or album and make band club. Yeah, we could.
Fun, yeah.
We're working on it.
It'd be awesome.
Skateboards, too. IB Rippenham says, worst censorship, Fartbook or Tutor? Both. Oh, man, I just had a very bad idea of what Tutor would be. It's just people.
Moving on.
It's following. You follow people and they just fart.
Oh, no.
I think IB Rippenham would be totally down.
Yeah, he'd run that thing.
Run it. David says, always loved economics, but Tim, you got me into politics. Moved to Syracuse. Vegan pizza on me, Adam.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Syracuse is fun. I've been there before. Logan, thanks for the super chat. Only Real Cloud says, Tim, you inspired me to make my own channel, Only Real Cloud. I tried making daily videos, but it's so much work. I make vids most weekdays. Much respect for your work ethic, and thanks for the inspiration. Hey, no problem.
It's a lot of work, and he does it every day.
Let's get a system.
I have 2 half days off.
You're a beast, dude.
Yeah.
Didactics and David Lopez says, went to Venice Beach yesterday. Crowds of people, many with no mask. Cops minding their own business with their masks lowered. Kids digging the skate park out of the sand. Most of it dug out. Awesome.
Good to hear.
Skateboarders clean everything.
That's so true.
So I've been skateboarding most of my life. We would have mops and rakes and shovels and everything.
Yeah.
You have to, right?
Yeah. If you drove a half an hour to skate like this famous spot and there was dirt or something, you wouldn't just go home. You'd be like, all right, let's clean it up.
Yep.
You get like a pump water thing.
That's actually interesting. I lived in New York and I went to many different skate parks in New York. And there is trash everywhere in New York. Wow. Everywhere you go, there's trash. You get to the skate park. You get to the skate park. It's clean.
Yep.
It's clean. They take the trash, they throw it away. I mean, it's like their holy ground essentially. Well, it's man, like, but they care about it. It's true.
I've helped clear drains at like flooded parks. It's like, well, we're here. Now what do we do? Everything's under a foot of water. It's like, all right, who wants to sacrifice it and go to the drain and start digging up the leaves?
Yeah,
it's fun. And then you go and you have to like pull the leaves out. And the water head's draining, and then we have squeegees.
And then your respect level bar grows, though. It's like, boop, boop, boop,
but it's for you. It's not for anybody else.
True.
It's like, I'm here. I want to skate. The only way that's going to happen is if I clean this place up.
I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Skateboarding.
Well, the other day, you did it for me, though. It was raining.
Oh, air blowing the
You weren't skating. You were like, I'm not skating. I'm like, I want to skate. And you're like, I got you.
We're going to dispel this myth. There's a clip we put on Instagram of Adam doing a switch blunt frontside grab in, and it is just Adam laughing afterwards, and for some reason people think it's me.
Yeah, I don't know why they think it's you, because you're holding the camera, and it's
oh yeah, I'm a pro.
You can hear the pure joy in my laugh of me landing that trick,
because it was like it had just stopped raining. We quickly squeegeed off the ramp and blew it off, and then Adam, you got like 10 minutes before it was gonna rain.
Yep.
And Adam was like, I had a dream I did this trick. I'm gonna try it. And it was first try.
You're like, let me film it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I got down. I was sitting down. I went wide mode, and you did it first try. It
was awesome.
And you left because you did it first try.
I know, yeah.
And people were saying I was laughing. No. I take that. I take offense to that because I'm a professional cameraman. All right. I know full well one of the worst things you can do in skateboarding, because I got a clip. Like after the Rogan thing happened, all of these old clips of me are like popping up on YouTube. It's so weird. It's like 14-year-old skate videos, and one of them, I think I did a backside tail slide over this gap. So there's like a ledge and there's grass. So you have to slide on top of the ledge to come off. And the cameraman starts laughing. He's like, yeah, what? I'm like, no.
Shut up.
You ruined it.
Put music. What are you doing?
Let it maybe land it and roll away first before you laugh.
Yeah.
You can laugh, you can high five, but the camera person is just a tripod. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Human
Let's read some more.
That's nice.
Max says, you should name an award after Jussie Smollett. That's like the opposite of what, you know, it should be named after. K. Sack says, hey guys, been following your channel for a couple of years now. Great work. I wonder how the hospitality industry is going to look once all this blows over. Keep it the great work.
Hopefully it doesn't die.
Oh, here we go. Lars and Rune says Vermin Supreme 2020.
Oh, yeah.
I guess
Is
Vermin.
he running again?
A legit campaign, I heard.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
wait,
a
he's
real one.
actually going to go this time.
John Stossel.
He's going to do a real campaign.
Yep.
He's a cool dude. Like he's a
He's
libertarian.
really smart, too.
He's really smart.
I've heard some of his like more serious talks. I'm like, oh,
He got us.
all right, Vermin.
Yeah.
He got me in trouble once because we were hanging out at this dude's apartment in LA, and he was in a chair, and the dude's, what is he, like 60? He's got the boot on his head and everything, and he was spinning around in the chair going like, and it's like 3 a.m, and the people downstairs are like, shut up. And it was like, what are you doing? Quiet, Vermin. What are you doing? Vermin's awesome.
He's Vermin Supreme.
awesome.
What can you do
I
with
love it.
Burris Streaming says, my great uncle died at the Battle of the Bulge.
Oh, much
Right on.
respect.
The Red Bike Master says, having a rough day. You guys are keeping me company. Thanks. No problemo.
Thanks,
Good
man.
to be here for you.
Dark Renji says, well, boys and girl, I'm off tomorrow to someone got infected. Rip. Oh, bummer.
Did you get infected?
Jeez.
Or is that what, I'm not sure what he's saying. That
Yeah, I don't
sucks.
know.
Infection's bad.
Dude Guy McPant says, yo, weapons designer and 01 firearms dealer. Would like to chat about weapons sometime. Hit me up if you want me to share my experience. Send everything to Mr. Adam Krigler.
Yeah, hit me up.
That's the pathway towards
Yeah.
Timothy.
Well, no, just to the show in general.
Timcast, yeah.
Yeah.
Jack Daw says, JB and Willin participant. All right. What is that? 25 aid? I can't. Sorry. David says, I'm a vet. It's because of my service. I'm against war. Much respect.
Yep.
Right on.
Michelle Mybell says, I was so stoked to see the marina owner would not release Governor Whitmer's husband's boat. That was hilarious.
Oh, that's
Thanking all
awesome.
those that have served and have died for our freedom.
Amen.
Here,
Man,
here.
That's ultimate Karening. We're going to lock everybody down, but I get my boat first. No,
My
sorry,
special
dude. Back of
boat.
the line.
Yeah.
That's why America's great, because it's like, I don't care if you're a noble. Get out of here.
Yeah.
They're not happy about it.
Appreciate it.
Grim Soul Banisher says, Armed Forces Day is for those that currently wear the uniform. Veterans Day is for those that used to wear it. Memorial Day is for those that never took it off.
Yep.
Rip my Uncle Donnie. 1991 Desert Storm. Much respect.
Much respect, yeah.
Here, Uncle Donnie.
Talbot says, also, I always appreciate love as a veteran, but Memorial Day is to honor the dead. Honor those that gave all for we who still stand.
Right.
100%.
Yep.
Albie Dam says, are all of y'all roommates? Technically, yes. The pandemic really jammed up the plans for expansion. So not only that, I mean, hey, it kind of revealed New Jersey was a bad idea in the first place. So at least now I have the opportunity to find a building not in this state.
Yeah.
Harks says, hello, not Joe Rogan, not Jamie and Soy Jesus.
That's me.
Absolutely.
Not Jamie.
Kyle Harmon says, journalist award in the voice of South Park, the Timah.
Yes. Ooh, yeah.
Chaotic says, happy Memorial Day, Beanie Crew. Once again, I appreciate everything you guys do. Off topic, do any of you enjoy any whiskeys, scotches? I personally enjoy Lafrague and Highland Park.
Oh, I got your man right there.
Oh, Lafrague is definitely
Ooh,
one of my favorites.
we
This
did-
guy spoiled me here.
Well, hold on.
Go ahead.
We did an event out here, and Antifa threatened to burn the theater down. And so, like, everything was up in the air. We worked really, really hard, and eventually we were able to pull it off. And so I went out and I bought Lafroig. How is it? Lafroig. Lafroig.
Yeah.
And
25.
I'm not a drinker. I do not like drinking. I thought it tastes like an ashtray.
I love that smoky flavor though.
Yeah.
Tried it.
Oh, it's so good.
But it's very expensive. It was like $700.
It's really good.
But it was this big event we put on. It ended up being, I think for me it was a net loss. I'm not entirely sure. That's about to shut off. Is that not plugged in? The camera.
Oh, I don't know.
The Canon,
I'll look at it.
The Canon,
carry on. I got this.
Yeah, it's about to turn it off. So, all right, let's see where are we at. All the other cameras are good, right? That's weird. Why did the cord come
must
out
not
of
be
it?
plugged
No idea.
in. I got it.
All right, let's see what we got. Zachary says, Adam, if you could assign an allomancy power to the three of you, what would they be? Also, I have ring the subscription bell several times. I've had to re-ring.
Oh, that's weird.
What's an allomancy power?
I don't know. Is that just like allocating power to among us all? Man, that feels like a trap.
Is it in the power strip?
I would say, I mean, Tim and I have been friends for a long time, so I don't know. I've always done my own thing my entire life, so it's I don't know. I feel like I'm just hanging out with my friend, even though like technically you're my boss. Like I guess I don't know. We're doing this show together, so
is the button on?
I would say that him and I are about
The light is on?
equal, and then Lydia's kind of just standing onto the side doing her own thing too. I don't know.
The camera's
This
about
is
to
too
shut
much of a
off.
trap. I feel like I don't even want to touch this.
What's wrong with it? No, I mean, is it plugged in?
Yeah, everything's lined up.
That's weird. Open the LCD. Take a look at what it says. Does it say battery dying?
Yeah. What?
Try and unplug it from the back and plug it back in or something.
All right.
Clearly, the plug's not working.
Yeah, something's going on.
Is it so?
Yeah,
I think it's the power strip.
it might be.
Everything else is in the power strip.
Yeah, but the power strip
Technical
has
difficulties,
the power
everybody.
strip has individual buttons.
Oh, yeah.
You can press a button and
Oh,
turn it off.
allomancy from Mistborn. Now I know what you're talking about. All right, thank you, everybody. Now I actually can answer this question. So basically, what we're saying is, what would each of the powers be? Like, what kind?
What does allomancy mean?
Well, that's kind of the magic in Mistborn.
Ah.
It's, one of Brandon Sanderson's books.
You fixed it?
Man, it's been a few years since I've actually read this that series. It was good. It was basically like the manipulation of metal, allomancy.
We fixed the camera.
Yeah, I can't really think about it. Good.
All right.
We fixed the camera, everybody.
Now, Adam, stop stalling for time. Where are we at? Okay. The Grizzly says, hey there, Timcast. How's it going? I wanted to tell you something. A lot of times in your videos, I always hear you say, maybe we can break some echo chambers. In a pretty doubting voice, let me just tell you this. You did. You helped me back in. And then half, let's see if I can try and just jump ahead and figure out where the next half of that.
Oh, yeah, I want to hear this. This sounds good.
There we go. In 2017, your coverage of the Mueller report helped me out of a leftist echo chamber and helped my drift toward the right. Not exclusively, though, with help from Razor Fist and Sticks, but I did want to let you know that you help people out. I appreciate it. I don't necessarily I guess you could say that if you think you're getting better information that's fact-checked and you trust it, then it's a good thing. That's all that really matters. Like, I don't do the things that I do because I'm trying to convince someone to be right or left.
You're trying to break echo chambers, though, right?
I mean, to an extent. Like, it's not so much about telling someone what they should or shouldn't do. It's about being like, here's what happened and here's what I think about it. And I think too many people don't pay attention. So I guess it's a good thing, right? I'd be happy about it. Look at this. We are slammed, man. Also, it's like 90 degrees in here, so
It is pretty hot in
Get a
here.
little annoying hum. Sorry,
yeah,
guys.
the hum's coming back because we're putting
Yeah.
the AC back on.
Even I'm gonna pass out.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
always
pretty hot.
cold.
Let's see what we got.
Pretty hot in here.
Let's see if this thing's gonna tell me where we're at. This room's boiling.
78 degrees, 77.
Oh
80.
my Lanta.
80 degrees.
It's like
80.
you guys are here with us.
It is hot in
80
here.
degrees in here.
And I'm wearing a beanie. What's
Picture
wrong
it.
with me?
Yeah, what the heck?
All right, let's see where we at. Logan Orr says, you were talking about selling skateboards on the podcast. I own a sawmill and woodworking business. Is there a way I could build one and send it to you
Ooh.
to have you test out? Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Go to timcast.com/donate. There's a P.O. box, and you can send whatever you want.
Yeah, send a deck, and then if it's solid quality, maybe we can work something out.
We bought some of that rubber grip tape.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I haven't really been able to like
Shocked.
have a heavy skate day because it rained that day. So
It rained. It's been raining nonstop.
It's been raining.
We'll,
yeah.
we'll see what happens. Maybe not tomorrow, but I think the day after tomorrow we'll have a heavy session. Maybe we'll get some crazy tricks in.
Sounds good.
I'm really inching for some switch blunt flips out. We'll see what happens. Where are we at? Okay, Mr. Ghost says, the entire chat wants to know, is Lydia single? Now you might get tens of thousands from super chats wanting a date. You're welcome. No, don't answer. Honestly, just tell him you're single.
Okay, I'm single. There you go.
Send all the super chats to her. No, I'm kidding.
No, I was just kidding.
You can answer that if you want, or we can just keep going.
No worries.
Ceylon says, You see, on the topic of women most affected by COVID, they are mentioning unpaid labor. What does it even mean? Who pays and how much? Government pays them from taxes? Husband has to pay? Honestly, I have no idea.
They have to be mothers.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
WBen95 says, greetings from California's Central Valley. Things over here haven't been too crazy. Recently, a local grocery store chain quarantined all their works from a store because one person tested positive. Yikes.
Oh,
Mark Robertshaw says, to all the soldiers that died in past wars fighting for freedom and to protect the American dream, if they could see America now, they would have pride or regret with their... Now, would they have pride or regret with their sacrifice?
Who knows?
I can't tell you. What I can tell you is Mr. Freedom Tunes, if you guys are familiar with Freedom Tunes, check them out on YouTube, did a video where social justice warriors bring World War II soldiers back from the past to help fight the rise of Nazis.
Okay.
And then the social justice warriors are like, they say something like, the Nazis think that men and same-sex marriages shouldn't be allowed. And then the soldier goes, what? Are you serious? You guys think two people of the same sex should be allowed to get married? Like, back then, their views were not progressive at all.
Yeah.
Like, if you took someone from back in the past, World War II, brought them today, they would be on the right, for sure. Actually, no, there's a video of it was like a World War II vet in a wheelchair, and some Antifa guy threw water at him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, these people are nuts, man.
It's craziness.
Point of personal privilege says, for my buddy H.F. Lopez, USMC, Fallujah, Iraq, RIP 2004.
Rest in peace.
And a beer emoji, man.
Respect, yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, man.
Sarah, thanks for the super chat. Josh in Jesus says, I have long thought we should slash the police force by 80%. This situation has proven that too many cops have too much time on their hands. Definitely.
Entirely possible.
Stu Boy says, your song Will of the People. The video style you described is just like the video for Brothers in Arms by Dire Straits. It's amazing. Might be worth checking out. I will check it out. Eric Burns Marsh says, Pulitzer Prizes don't impress us. They gave one to Durante. Signed, the victims of the Holodomor. Oof.
Yes, they did.
Kalbeck says, radical centrism. The crazy notion that both left and right have good ideas to bring to the table. Yes, they do. Sneaky Soviet says, enjoying the Memorial Day with Timcast IRL and conquering the galaxy in Stellaris through technological superiority. I have a mod for carrier-class ships. Fighter swarms are hilariously OP. I'll take your word for it.
Cool. I hear it's a cool game.
Jeff says, I recently joined Twitter. It might have been a huge mistake. I had an instructor who used to say, common sense is dead. It died a long time ago. Yeah.
Yep.
Gerg C says, his podcast has become my go-to evening entertainment, except on Thursdays and obviously the weekends. Thank you guys very much. Are you trying to say that you're going to go watch Crowder instead of us?
Are you really going to watch Crowder? Come on, man.
No, it's funny, though. I mean,
Crowder's cool.
Crowder's
he's
great.
a funny dude.
And he does one show a week, so I'm kind of like, I don't know, it's good that people watch him.
Yeah,
We,
for sure.
We do shows every day. So.
Yeah, Crowder's great.
Yeah. The Grizzly says, I'm sorry, I read that one already. All Metal Mike says, my 2 great-grandfather fought in the Civil War.
Whoa.
My grandfather fought in World War I. My
Wow.
uncle fought in World War II.
That is impressive. Man. High five.
Awesome. Right on.
Via Wolf says, Tim, you ever host a Civ 6 MP stream? I haven't played Civ 6 in a long time. I used to play like every day after work, but now we do this.
I think it's the free game right now for Epic Games.
Civ 6?
Yeah, they gave out Grand Theft Auto 5. Now they're doing Civilization 6.
But there's a new expansion for it.
Oh, is that what's happening?
So it's like you get the game and they want you to get the expansion.
Of course.
I love Civilization, man. Chris Christian says, the truth just sounds different. Some chick in some movie. Damian Maddox says, take my money, Beanie Bro. Any plans to go to Spotify like Rogan? I'm already on Spotify, my podcast. If they start hosting videos and it's open to the public, I'll definitely put my videos there too. Chaotic says, the founding fathers may not have been successful in destroying slavery in their time, but the foundations they laid down had been crucial in defeating it after they passed. The founding fathers won 100%.
Yep. Smart dudes.
Let's see. Perik Tuwari says, on Friday's podcast, you talked about a possible correlation between population size and authoritarianism. India is a democracy with a population of 1.3 billion. China's way is not the only way. Agreed.
All right.
Max Reed says, hey, Tim and Soy Hero, are you guys hip to Glenn Cook's books? The Black Company series is a dark fantasy masterwork, and his Garrett files are the funniest. Thanks for all you do. Not familiar.
I don't, but if you're suggesting it to me, maybe I should check it out.
I'll write this down.
Glenn Cook. Cool. Soy Hero, thanks.
Paul N. says, Jefferson Davis, President of the Confederacy, Democrat. Fart noises. Totally jumbled. Tim, please consider having this woman on your podcast. She has an important view of why so many people are leaving the left, Dr. Carolyn Borisenko.
Yes.
I do know Dr.
She's
Carolyn.
my friend.
She would be awesome on the podcast soon because we're lifting lockdown. And,
yeah.
then
She's going to teach me how to knit.
Oh, really?
She is, yeah.
Right on. Judge Tater says, hey, Tim, I listened to you guys at work. Real sorry to hear about your friend. I lost one to the radical misandrists feminists.
Oh, man.
She used to be so small, sweet, and stood up for me. Now I'm the enemy to her. Man, I'll tell you what. I had someone who was my friend, this is years ago, come up to me one day and just start telling me about the Scum Manifesto.
Okay.
You know what that is?
Yeah.
Doesn't that call, you know what the Scum Manifesto is? Like, it's I think it's the woman who like shot Andy Warhol or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Is that who it is?
Yeah, I think it is.
Like a nice
right?
lady.
Yeah, I think that's
and
right.
it's talking about how like men need to be killed or something, and
Oh.
all men, like it's psychotic. And she was serious. I'm like, you for real with this stuff? Like,
Clementine
you going
Ford.
nuts, man.
Yeah.
It's
that's
only
hard.
gotten worse.
That's so hard.
Ben Lowry says, Afghanistan Army vet here. Would love to talk to y'all about my experience. Had to testify in a murder-suicide trial. Danny
Oh
Chen
my
Army.
gosh.
Wow.
Feel free to hit up Adam, right?
Yeah, hit me up.
On Twitter, at Adam Krigler.
Yeah.
He is the contact for tips, stories, anything you want to send. Kyle Miller says, SJWs infect popular outlets and franchises because they cannot gain popularity on their own. Look at Star Wars. I agree. Chet Chisholm says, I didn't walk away from the left walked away from me. HCQ stuff helped clarify anything? I'm just digging into some autopsy stuff for you, too.
Yeah,
No,
no, he's talking to me.
Right.
Yeah, I read some of that stuff. The main thing is we are trying not to talk about coronavirus. I mean, we've covered pretty much every aspect of it, and it's like,
and we're waiting.
There's
for it
a
to
lot
go
of
away.
information
Yes.
that you're sending me, but it's like, how to just like talk about that, and it's just that when we really want to get away from it because. I don't know. It's just kind of where we're at. Where
I feel like we were bashed over the head with a big mallet with coronavirus labeled on it for months.
Yeah,
It was crazy
basically
when the lockdown first started. Everything was stopped, and it was like
that's all it was.
It was brutal.
Right.
Now things are getting back, and it's like we can talk about Joe Rogan and Spotify.
Yeah.
Like yes.
Yeah, something else.
Let's talk about not.
It's wonderful.
Anything
like-
but that.
We
Yeah.
don't. Yeah, man.
But
So
I appreciate you, chat, though. Thank you.
I like the stuff we talked about today with freedom, UBI,
Yeah.
civic, all that stuff.
dig it.
It's like I'm just don't want. We want to have fun.
Recognizing heroes.
Yeah. Grim Soul Banisher says from now on, mandatory Mayo Mondays. Partial B to Lord Mayo, the hairless guinea pig.
Okay.
Yuyu says, President of Madagascar, Andre Rajoelina, has claimed that the World Health Organization offered his country the sum of $20 million as a bribe to poison COVID-19 cure. Whoa, is that true? I'll have to look that one up.
Never heard that.
Jet Chisholm says, in Revelations, Jesus comes back and shoots swords. Is that true? He fires them?
Possibly somewhere in the book of Revelation. There's some crazy
right.
stuff in there.
The Grizzly says, last super chat, but I forgot to ask you what you guys thought of the new Ikora set. I just got a box, but I'm building a deck for Friday Night Magic. Thank goodness the local games shops didn't close here in Florida. Team Red. I added a couple cards to my kicker.
Kaikar.
Kicker.
Kicker?
Kicker.
It's Kaikar.
Nah, it's kicker. Kicker.
It's red, white, and blue, though.
Yeah, so
some
I
broken
got,
cards. I like the
amazing.
set. I
Yeah.
I just played some sealed earlier, and it was fun. It's fun to do limited. You really get a feel for the sets a little more.
I don't like the set.
No?
Based-
Play
based-
some limited.
Based on
it's
just
totally
looking at
different.
it, I kind of roll. I'm like, eh. I like the companion idea. I do. It does feel like they ripped off Hearthstone because Hearthstone did that first.
What?
Hearthstone has a series of cards that are like, at the start of the game, if your deck only fits these criteria,
Okay.
then do X. And so it's like, one guy is if your deck only has 3, cards that cost 3 or more, then you start the game with this creature, or you gain these 3 cards, something like that.
Hearthstone. I tried it.
Dude, Magic has done.
meh.
Magic has followed a lot of what Hearthstone had ended up doing. Hearthstone's super simple.
Yeah.
But I like Commander. Sean El Bucho Loco says, when you redefine racism to exclude hatred of a particular race and convince that race they are not allowed to defend themselves, that race becomes a fair game for hateful acts. That's why racism is racism. They're trying to change the definition for political power.
Yep.
Cult says, the Council of Nicaea did not edit the Bible. That is a lie pushed by the movie Zeitgeist. Really? Is that where that comes from? Yeah, Zeitgeist had a lot of wrong stuff in it for sure. Steven says, careful, Tim. The COVID will hear you if you say its name too much. Don't say its name 3 times in the mirror.
Yeah, right.
Talbot says, the left used to say it's time to be human, to be a human, doing and say to go protest. Now they say it's ableist, but you should still go protest. Matthew Hammond says, now you know why conservatives are against a living and breathing constitution. The left will make the constitution whatever they want it to be if they are allowed to define it, amend it, to change it. But it is amendable. The problem is zealotry. We need to defend against cultist authoritarians.
Amendments require all the states, don't they?
Or majority.
Like 2/3 or something, right?
Tons of states.
Oh man, allergies.
Just on a whim.
Roger says, you're not being offended on behalf of black people for Biden. You're being alarmed that he is so openly racist. You are always right to hate racism. I agree.
Yep.
Micah says, King James took out entire chapters. Oof.
Yeah, they called him apocryphal.
Long Dong John says, if you vote for Trump, you ain't black. Does that mean Sean King voted for Trump? Ooh, spicy.
Good question.
Dread Forger says, prisoners equals liability if they die in prison. Definitely. Mark Robert Shaw says, as a white male, I definitely feel superior to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. The borderline minimum wage job is so much better than his job. I'm so privileged because of race. No. Chet Chisholm says, we cleared patients out and canceled procedures to make room and preserve stock. People often go to the ER for things they don't need. Now they don't. All right, so I think we're going to have to start speeding things up, and I hate to do this to you guys, but this is often something often what happens.
Oh, it's already 10.
Yeah, we get too many super chats. It becomes very difficult to read through everything. So that means we're not going to be able to read through the smaller super chats. For that, I apologize. Later in the night, it happens.
I'll spin the UFO for you all.
But Adam's going to spin the UFO.
Beautiful.
Chase Smith, thanks for the super chat. The Dark Wall says, I love you and your content for years. You guys are truly a treasure and a much needed time, but let's cut to the chase. I don't want a beanie. Tim Body Pillow when? We'll have to figure out.
We'll figure it out.
Ralph, thanks for joining. Evil Me says, lockdown was useless. My friends and I drive semis. Been out here the whole time. Been to NYC, Jersey, Detroit. Out of 20 people, none of us got sick. About 1/3 of the people I know who stayed home got sick. Love y'all. Be safe. And Cuomo confirmed that.
Yep.
David says, Article 2, Section 3 of the Constitution. He shall take care that the laws be faithfully executed. Trump can make states reopen through enforcing the right to assemble from the First Amendment. But businesses and stuff, there's probably nuances there, and there's courts. I like the checks and balances. Vosh says, SJW hole, is that like the front hole? Slav in the chat says, greetings, Western imperialists. I very much enjoy this show. Also, I am sending you a copy of Future by Dmitry Glukhovsky, so do not buy it. Don't worry, it's English copy, so even Western spies can enjoy sci-fi literature from Glorious Federation.
Very good.
All right.
Nice.
Andrew says, looking for a good sci-fi book series? Check out Galaxy's Edge. It's by Jason Ansbach and Nick Cole. It's not Star Wars, but better. It's a bit of a complex storyline, so check their website for details.
Galaxy's Edge. Cool, thanks.
Eggman says, aside from the economy, after all this COVID business is said and done, do you guys think everything will return to the way it was before? I mean, stuff like celebrity worship and all that nonsense. Somewhat.
Probably.
I think there'll be things that'll be
not
different.
100% though.
Yeah.
The bubble's been popped.
For sure. Yeah. Connor, thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Sue, thanks for the super chat. Hedge, thanks for the super chat. Mech Hero says, why was it so easy to compare SJW ideology influence to infants watching Finger Family? Because they're children.
It is, yeah.
That's basically what we went over.
Mark Wolf says, I am starting to view the issues of today by this filter. Good men, forsooth, are scarce. There are hardly as many as there are gates of Thebes, how do you pronounce it? Thebes? Or mouths of the rich Nile. Juvenal Sat. Jack Conti. In Illinois, my apartment complex emailed residents to inform on each other if we don't wear masks in the hallways. Amenities closed. Wow. I'm considering not paying rent until Illinois gets together. That's as my protest. Gets it together. Professor Ramandev says, so if dry, real news content isn't profitable, how do you make a news organization that can last? It's subsidized. Now, news was always a loss leader. It's a marketing thing. You do breaking news, you get a bunch of attention for your brand or whatever. Now they've become profit engines, so maybe that's the plan. I don't know. Altark Ali Ark says, hey, Tim, Adam, and Lydia, thanks for all the stuff you do. Keep up the great work. Also, since it's Memorial Day, Semper Fi, Philip, keep watching from on high, buddy. Awesome. Kells, thanks for joining. EF says, this stream should be illegal. Common sense is not allowed on YouTube. Don't you know it? No, come on. Joe Rogan's got a huge show.
That's true.
Let's see. Baggin says, have any of you considered the idea that the U.S. government is complicit in supporting violations of the First Amendment by giving legal protections to social media companies that file as a public platform? The publisher platform argument is wrong. Many people get that wrong. And it's actually the First Amendment that protects these companies from having to host content they don't want. That's the challenge. The government can't create a law, that would prohibit their ability to speak as an entity. I think we need to change it, but it's actually the First Amendment. The government can't compel you to say something. So these companies are like, we can post whatever we want no matter what. I think there are problems there. We'll have to figure it out. It's actually like the traditionally liberal position, government regulation over these issues, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But the left today, it's like they want power, so.
Yeah.
Aaron Larson says, and the sign said, long-haired freaky people need not apply. So I tucked my hair up under my beanie, and I came to ask him why. Song stuck in my head now. Thanks, guys and gal. Haha.
As my hair's totally tucked into my beanie.
Right.
As soon as we're done, I'm going to tell the robot to play it.
Nice. The robot.
Robot, you can't say your name.
No. Ricky J says, here in the UK, you can discriminate for employment if there's a legitimate reason. For example, hiring a woman for social care for women or hiring fit people to work in construction. That's true for America, too. It is. Non-Servium says, service should guarantee voting for commander-in-chief. If you know how to balance a checkbook and pay in even $1 more than you take out in welfare programs at the end of the year, you should be able to vote for how our finances in this country go. Action Man says, you should watch Solar Opposites, made by Justin Roiland. One episode has the girl character trying to smash the patriarchy, but has to start a boys' club because everything is already inclusive. Yes, I saw that. It was awesome.
I haven't seen it. Is it good?
So she's told by her teacher to like take down the patriarchy for like her assignment.
Okay.
But everything she finds is inclusive. So she makes a boys club started by a girl that says no girls allowed, and a bunch of boys show up to protest it, and she's trying to start it so she can smash it. But then the boys show up and accuse her of being a bigot because she excluded girls, and they chase her out. It's
so great. I loved it. I really enjoyed
that's
that.
Funny. Nice.
Kyle Harmon says, Ivan et Niage. Let's go join the Navy. Do you remember that Simpsons episode?
Wait,
Ivan et Niage?
I feel like I should.
You don't remember that song?
No.
Ivan et Niage.
Sing it, Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was The Simpsons. The Navy
Subliminal.
recruiter hired Bart and his like boy band to sing it, and it says "Join the Navy" backwards.
Oh, okay.
Ivan et Niage.
Nice.
Yeah. Nanan says voting rights should be granted to landowners. The most affected by most of the decisions made. 1 vote per acre of land zone residential owned, rounded down to the nearest integer. No, I understand why the history used to be that way, but now I understand why it's not that way because we're not actually a country of landowners anymore. Most people live in rental properties and stuff. Sketchy says the idea of the citizenship for service makes more sense as they have taken a stake in government, much like the original idea behind the property for voting, as taxes pay into it, but with it being more meritocratic. Perpetual Punster says in Starship Troopers, anyone could apply to be a citizen and work to become one. However, 2 years of civil service guaranteed citizenship. Oh, I see it. Guarantees. That's the point. EF says, what is your opinions of the Biden gaffes? He's sunsetting and old and he can't think straight anymore.
How many gaffes does it take to finally just have dementia?
Exactly. How many gaffes equals 1 dementia?
Or when you open your mouth and it's always a gaff?
It's better keeping his mouth shut.
Yeah.
Combustion says, I wonder how the acoustics are in the jail and if it could work as a recording studio.
Probably. It looked like it could.
Cyberpunk says, remembering my first cousin. Do you know what SPC means?
Sergeant, Private First Class or something?
SPC Daniel J. Agami died from an IED in Iraq 2007.
Oh, man. Much respect.
We must never allow
peace,
neocons to get in power again. Sorry to hear, man. A handy redneck says, Tim, the churches used to be the focal points for community togetherness. Quilting bees, bake sales, etc. Yup, for sure. I know because I grew up I went to a Catholic school, and they would do weekly gatherings.
Yeah. And
you actually paid less tuition if you were parishioners and you showed up to their events and stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Let's see. David says, I'm an Iraq veteran, and I have some pretty severe service-connected disabilities. I don't have full VA healthcare benefits. I don't want them.
Oh, man. Thank you for your service, dude.
Let's see. What does it say? C. Collins, 68. Paying people to commit crimes reminds me of the new Ghost in the Shell, where they have this concept of sustainable war. Controlled wars to help boost the world economy and control the population. Oh, man, that sounds terrible.
Yikes.
Kyle Harmon says, giving the homeless houses. My experience is pawn shop work. Some customers have paid so much interest to the shop, we have mercy on them and give them their collateral back for free. 100% they turn around and pawn it right back. Yikes. Just Jen, thanks for becoming a member.
Thank you.
Vanessa says, the elementary school my youngest goes to has Ranger Bucks. They can buy toys, school supplies, and if they have enough, extra recess.
That's
wow.
So cool.
Okay.
I had something in first grade where if you did good, you'd get a ticket.
Okay.
So if you got 10 tickets, you can buy a toy. It wasn't necessarily the same, but I thought that was awesome. Later on in hindsight, I liked the idea of being able to buy toys for sure. Crizzy Kitty says, I went to high school that basically paid you credits to use at the school store. They had more than candy and school tools. I got a VCR at one point. Wow,
that's
VCR.
awesome.
Random.
Yeah. Sean says the government is amazing with money. Yes, let's have those people teach the kids. Public school curriculum would be worse than having no financial education to figure it out for yourself. That's a good point.
All right, that's fair.
Johnny Cash says, Tim, please invite Styx Hexenhammer on for a general policy discussion, not a debate necessarily, but something I think would be a good collaboration for both of your audiences. Yeah, Styx is awesome. I want him to sit. I want him to come here and sit down and hang out.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
But we're locked down. I guess is he in Europe now?
I thought he was overseas last I checked.
Does he live there now?
I don't know. He's back in.
No
Styx
idea.
is great. He's a smart fella.
He's funny.
The Unrepresented says automated mining is now in some places with driverless dump trucks. Wow.
Interesting.
Randy says, I'm moving to New Zealand ASAP. They have an actual directory for job seekers. On top of that, I refuse to spend ungodly amounts of money for medical treatment.
Whether they want you.
I heard that New Zealand is very, what's the right word for it? Almost homogenistic culturally. Like, everyone is dronish. There's no dissenting thought. Everybody, it's hard to explain, I guess. But you know how like the left is, SJWs? Imagine a whole country where everyone is just homogenous in their thoughts.
So I wonder if that's partly because they have such a discriminating immigration policy. They're an island. They can do whatever they want. They let in whoever they want. Yeah. And they're really, really picky.
Homogenized culture.
Highly educated. And so I wonder.
Yeah. Sean Moore says, what is wrong with a burger if it's just beef and cheese? The bread is bad, though. You know, I haven't had a burger in a long time because I don't like eating beef. It doesn't sit well with me. And I stopped having dairy.
So there's only bread left.
No, I don't even like bread. I have a weird diet. I don't even know what to call it. I call it the Tim diet. It's not keto. It's not vegan. It's not paleo. I eat some vegan food because of this guy. Yeah, it's like I was eating something. I can't remember what it was, and I was like, it's 99% vegan, so it's not vegan at all.
Yeah,
because it was like vegan food, but I put mayonnaise on it.
Oh,
right.
No.
Well, it's because you tried some of my food and you're like, that's pretty legit.
Pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, to be honest.
All right. Not bad.
So Adam's got like vegan freezer food that you can like nuke real quick.
Yeah.
That's great.
And I got fish sticks. And I microwaved them, and then I read in the box, you can't do that. And I was like, well, how am I?
What about my snacks?
My snacks.
My post-show
if I'm going to cook something, I'll cook something.
That's
but
right,
exactly.
I just want something fast.
I just want to put something in the microwave for 30 seconds, then slap some barbecue sauce on it and eat it.
And probably mayonnaise.
So then we got chicken nuggets and then some vegan stuff, too. That all works for me.
Yep.
That's why it's like a weird Tim diet.
Indeed.
All right, we just had a big old YouTube jump. I love when that happens.
We're
the super
doing
chats
great,
just
though.
jump all in at one time.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out, everybody.
Oh, man, we got so many super chats.
I hope
Heavens
everyone's
me.
enjoying their barbecues.
Wow, I can't. There we go. There we go.
Jealous.
All right, we found it. Christian Moore says, Adam, that Biden child predator video creeped out my whole family.
Oh, I know, right?
Invading personal space like that can't be normal. Did you post the Biden video?
No, someone tagged me in it, and I commented on it because it's. I said what has been seen cannot be unseen, and it's. I mean, when you really see it, and it's basically this guy. He's a professional. I don't know if he's a psychologist or whatever it is. He's a doctor that works with victims in this line of videos, and he's basically saying like what he's doing is grooming children, and like leads him into being used to being touched and less likely to like report it and talk about it. And it's bad. It just. Man, he creeps me out. He's such a creepy old dude. Like, oh, God.
Jon Stewart on The Daily Show did a segment called The Audacity of Grope.
Yeah.
Where they show one of the clips, and then Jon Stewart takes hand sanitizer and puts it in his eyes.
I
goes,
know. I wish I could unsee it, but it's like,
you can't.
He's a public figure. You dude, disappear. Go retire, please.
He apologized for it and then kept doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, this dude's...
He's not sorry. He said sorry for appearances.
I'm going to be bold, bro.
Oh, really?
You know
You're
Hunter
gonna
Biden?
Be bold?
You know Hunter Biden?
I mean, I don't know much about him. I know he's Biden's son.
You know Hunter Biden?
I'm very familiar with
Hunter Biden. You
Hunter
heard the stories
Biden.
about what he does at those clubs?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's a hot mess.
I don't know if I want to know.
Dude,
Drugs?
he's such a mess.
Well, I knew that. I know he's a druggie, right?
Took his brother's widow and knocked her up shortly after her brother died.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great.
Yikes.
And he got caught with crack pipes and stuff.
Yep.
He's a hot mess.
He's a hot mess. I wonder what Biden was doing to him when he was growing up.
I don't want to think about it. Poor guy.
I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ugh.
What has been seen?
Sat says, exploitation is not good, but what do you do when the third world is willing to work for $1 a day? To Americans, $1 a day is exploitation. To the third world, they sign up for it every day. And that's been a big argument that it actually helps them.
Yeah.
But we're a community of Americans, man. You know, it's like if you don't want to pay an American for the hard work they do, you're basically...
But it really
You're
doesn't.
extracting our resources.
It doesn't help them, though, because there's multiple factories, and those factories themselves compete with each other to get the best price.
Right.
So even that $1 a day will eventually turn into 75 cents a day. And there's going to be a factory that'll be like, you know what, we'll offer that. And then everyone will move to that cheaper factory because that gives them a better price.
Here's a good one from Diacritical One. He says, being able to call POC white supremacist is the whitest of all privileges.
I know, right?
I've seen it so many times.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
A 20-year-old white woman with purple hair yelling at a black man that he's racist. And I'm like,
Wait a
what?
I know. Like,
Your own ideology says that
me?
only white people can be racist. Why are there's a viral video of a black cop and this young college woman yelling at him that he's supporting white supremacy. And he's like, what? He's like, I grew up in civil rights. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
These people, man, these are arrogant kids, man.
Yep.
Marty Pelt says, first time catching the show live. I've watched you a long time and I haven't returned the favor, though. Or favor enough. I've been watching Gold Silver with Mike Maloney, and it's oddly familiar. His biggest fear is the rise of socialism and the massive current wealth transfer.
Thank you, Marty.
I think it is a problem, man, for sure.
Thanks for hanging out.
Daniel says, do you think your podcast would be demonetized, shadow banned, if you invited the doctor from Sweden that decided to keep the country open? Yes, I absolutely do.
Do you think so? Really?
Of course. Like they took down those two doctors
in California.
In California. It's like they took down a former advisor to the World Health Organization. Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, you're right.
Bobby Aragon says, thanks for the UFO spin and everything else y'all do. You guys are awesome and a routine part of my days. Keep up the good work. We will try.
Thank you very much.
Spiked Track says, I've lost my black card and with my credit, I can't reapply. Bummer. James Warren says, I've watched your videos since your first showed up on Crowder. I'm out in Arizona. Do you know a YouTuber named Razorfist? If so, would you ever bring him on IRL? I'd love to watch. Of course. Yeah, Razor's awesome too.
I know of Razorfist. I don't really know.
He's loud.
Ooh,
I haven't watched.
He's louder than Styx.
Oh yeah. He's like really.
Sticks on heroin.
Yeah. No, on heroin.
I don't know what he's on.
He's fast.
Oh, okay. So heroin slows you down.
Right. Yeah.
Crack,
Right.
crack,
Yeah. Razor's like he does these really long, fast, like it's almost like theatrical. It's great.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to check him out.
I love it.
I don't know a lot about Razor though. I do catch the occasional Styx video, and I'm familiar with Styx, and Styx is a very calm, intelligent. Razor is also, my understanding, cool dude and everything. I've only seen a few Razorfist videos though.
He does not like John McCain because he's in Arizona too, I think. Yeah.
There you go. Andrew says, government is made of people. All of you are people. Voting is not your only option to change it. Run for government positions and carry patience and vigilance for the ideas you believe in. Yeah, we got a few good politicians, man. I think Rand Paul is my favorite politician right now, just because he's like the only.
We need more politicians, a younger generation.
Put Rand
Not
Paul
just
in a clone
vote.
machine. And...
Don't just vote. Go get a job in politics.
Yeah.
This is a call for more younger generations in politics.
Find a way to clone Rand Paul.
Hey, they're working through this pandemic.
Yeah, I know, right?
Boom.
David says, did you hear about the Valve China Steam client alpha test? Apparently, they play a 5-second propaganda video on launch of any game, and you can't play during certain times.
Oh my goodness!
Sounds like China.
I saw about it, but I haven't dug into it. Ooh. I just noticed it earlier.
Dang.
Adam says, always great to listen to the podcast. Adam, what is your favorite class in Destiny?
Titan. Yep.
Is it because it's the first one you started as?
I mean, I play them all. I do when I'm playing Destiny. I'm not currently playing Destiny, but I'll definitely start playing before the fall when they introduce the new one, or the new expansion DLC. But yeah, I always like Titan. I like their jumps the best, and their supers.
Cyan Davies says, have you seen about the VicGov in Australia making an infrastructure deal with China? Reporters asked your VP, and he said the U.S. don't want to disconnect from Australia, but will if they have to. Wow, really?
I don't know about that.
It's a mess with China.
Danker Supreme says, part 1 of 4. Hi, Tim. Just want to say some stuff about the Constitution. Specifically about how people are changing what words mean based on today's context, and more specific, the Second Amendment. If I told you the Second Amendment base on how it was written and context of the time, it gives the right for citizens to own almost any weapon. Would you believe me? I think you meant own. Yeah. I absolutely would. Of course I would. And it's funny. Someone made a joke about if we applied that standard the way that the Democrats are saying, like they're expecting you to only own a musket. Some guy that wrote this really funny thing where he's like, wake up at 3 a.m. and someone kicks in my door, grab my rifle, run downstairs, take the first shot, miss because it's smoothbore, hit the neighbor's dog, reload as they're panicking, blast a 4-inch hole in the chest because it's a musket round.
Like a metal ball, right?
Run up to my roof and load up my artillery and fire an artillery shell.
Cannon.
Yeah, cannon at their car. Tally ho, lads. All right.
Awesome.
Part 3 says, but through manipulation of language today, people are taking away our rights. If we go down this path, the Constitution won't matter as a written document anymore.
That's a good point.
And where's part 4 at? There we go. But if you do believe the Constitution does need to be changed regarding to the Second Amendment, who do you trust to correctly change it? Man, I honestly don't know.
That's the key right there.
Yeah.
That's why we need younger people in politics. Smart people, not just...
But times change and people keep
moving
in that direction.
That's a good point.
We'll see. I mean, look, Joe Rogan's, I think he's pro-gun, and he's a lefty dude. Like, what people in this country don't realize is that the anti-gun crowd is smaller than the pro-gun crowd, and that's why the rules aren't changing. They don't get it.
It's a good point.
It's weird when I meet these lefties who are like, nobody like actually wants these things, and I'm like, bro, even blue states like Maine, for instance, is a blue. It's blue, right? I'm pretty sure Maine is. It's like partially blue. Is Maine blue or purple?
I think. Let me check.
Anyway, you've got these northeast blue-ish states.
Bluish, yeah.
They like their weapons, man. Like Vermont, especially.
Yeah.
That's why Bernie Sanders was usually moderate.
Yep, it's blue.
And Maine, you can like. My understanding is you got concealed carry without a permit. You just walk in, buy it, and you like put it in your trench coat or whatever.
Yeah.
Mr. Paul R says, "Awesome. What y'all do Monday through Friday. Love what you do 5 days a week. Hats off to Timcast does 7 days a week. Love Lydia's horizontal striped shirt. Appreciate it." Shadow Fox says, "My uncle was a Green Beret during Operation Desert Storm, and I was a part of Operation Inherent Resolve in 2017.
Oh, wow.
And my dad is still in the Army, while he is 50. Wow,
right on.
Impressive.
Right on." Bobcat says, "Tim, get your team some 10th Mountain Rye. Also, don't come to PA. You can't legally buy the good stuff here because the state owns all the liquor stores." Yikes, really? Come on.
I didn't know that.
Xerxes says, "Adam is trying to give this serious answer, yet Tim is so focused on the dead camera." Oh, yeah.
Well, technically, it was dying.
Sorry, it was me. I was standing over there.
Miguel says, "Try Lagavulin 16. It's a gateway whiskey for people who don't like peaty Isleys.
I've had that.
And it's a great drop of... Anyway,
yeah,
I just don't like drinking. I don't drink. Yeah. Antony says, "By the power of soy Jesus, you shall not simp. This super chat is paid for by Simping Point USA."
Thank you.
Rock Lexicon says, "Great rants tonight, Beanie Crew. Less SJW, more gratitude for the blessings we have. Can't wait to get my Haramphai Say shirt that I ordered." Awesome.
Thank you for that.
Woohoo.
Raul Gan says, "What is your opinion on China's digital currency that is backed by gold? Will this be their first step on controlling crypto? Maybe it's an attempt to trick people into buying it up with real cash, and then they just say, okay, now we don't honor it. Bye-bye."
Good point.
Mr. Sparky says, "Hey, Tim, have you thought of moving to Florida? We have no state income tax, decent housing cost, and great weather." Excuse me, you say great weather?
Great
How
weather.
dare
Do
you?
you like swimming when you go
How
outside?
dare you?
We lived in
They live
Florida.
there.
We lived there. Been there, done that.
It was fun that it was always a tropical hurricane in Miami,
Yeah.
but
That does sound
couldn't do
fun.
it.
Even our house had like barricaded windows that
hurricane.
we could.
Yep.
Man.
They had like hard metal sheets in the garage that you'd have to replace if a hurricane was coming.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Michael Coventry says, "You guys are awesome. When I was younger, I tried skateboarding, smacked my nose on the board. Oof."
That sucks.
Oh, man, we just got a big old jump. Where are we at? There we go. Let's see. Sexy Goose, thanks for becoming a member.
Thank you.
Sam says, "Have you ever seen the Chinese-made movie Hero starring Jet Li? It's the most visually stunning film I've ever seen, full stop. While it is definitely propaganda, it really gives insight into the Chinese mentality." Ooh, I'll check that out. That sounds cool. It's called, what is it called? Hero. Chinese Hero.
Cool.
Redwall says, "I think I got blackpilled. I'm ever growing in favor of a revolution to overthrow the leftist media, big tech, and political system, similar to how the socialists want to overthrow large corporations." Now, that is dangerous thinking there, buddy. Mm-hmm. It is tough because we got a really good thing going on and they're disrupting it. So it's an issue of defending the Constitution from these people. Jonathan says, "Can you start doing interviews? I want to see some hardcore interview. Also, Soy Jesus, I think you'd be a great person to do with." I think you mean to with. Also, the second they accept this. Okay, I'm just going to read this. Also, the second they lady on your cast, more she add good stuff, but it's weird when you hear her but don't see her.
Wait.
But she does have a camera.
I have a camera.
It does go to her when she speaks.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll say a few words without showing my face, like now, but not always.
Solitary Gamer says, "Maine is not blue with guns. We rejected Bloomberg regulations and have constitutional carry." That's right. Wow, constitutional carry. Daniel says, "Do you think they would hold a double standard, then potentially not demonetizing mainstream media in Sweden, policing just American independent commentary?" Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
No idea.
I don't know how it would work internationally, actually, but I think they would take the whole video down. Ascendiate says, Adam, what order of Knights Radiant would you be? Stormlight Archives reference.
Man, that is a good book series. This is the one I was talking about. This is Brandon Sanderson's epic, basically. I think it's supposed to be 9 books long. But man, what order of the Knights Radiant would it be? I honestly, I don't know. I couldn't answer that. I would love to be a knight, just to wear the suit and like jump around and be epic. They basically have these suits, these like knight in shining armor, and it's literally shining with this power that it radiates, and it uses.
Is it sci-fi or fantasy?
Oh, fantasy. I wouldn't say sci-fi. It's more fantasy. Maybe it's sci-fi. I don't know. It's got magic. There's singers that sing to the weather, and that's a cool book series. I gotta read in it because I haven't read it in a while. But I guess a new book's coming out this fall, supposedly, the 4th book. So we have that to look forward to.
Well, if you haven't already, smash that like button. Just find the little button. No. I'm sorry. Take your mouse, hover over the button, and give it a little tap. Just a little tap.
Yeah.
Smashing.
Don't smash your mouse.
Don't smash your mouse. Just a little tap.
Yeah.
The likes really do help. And if you like the show, share it. It's the best way. Think about how many people are watching. I don't even know how many, but no, don't worry about it.
Okay.
If every single one of these people were like, I'm going to press share or hit the like button, we'd have like a ton of likes, and YouTube would then be like, I'm going to push this up to the top of the ranks, make sure everybody sees it.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
And it really is. But you don't have to. You know what I mean? It's just it's one of the best
ways
to support.
Just kidding.
So Jesus said you have to.
Or just watch. And if you want to watch, then hit the like button, subscribe, and make sure to follow at Adam Krigler.
Yeah,
because that's where you guys can send stuff.
Yeah, I just pinned a new tweet on my page. So if you go to my page, you see it right on the top. There's a new tweet of today. Just what do you want us to talk about?
And you can follow me at Timcast if you want to see skateboarding pictures of cats on Instagram, and also on Twitter. Usually just complaining about stuff, posting news sometimes. And then also there's Sour Patch Lids.
Oh yeah,
LYDS.
LYDS.
She posts spicy memes.
I do. I talk to people a lot. It's good.
Spicy memes. And we got one more super chat, and then I think we're about to head to bed. Andel's History says, Tim, do you think UBI can work when guaranteed income equals guaranteed increase in charges for things like rent, etc.?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. That's the main problem.
It's like minimum wage a little bit.
If you don't have to work and you get money, then how do we incentivize the lowest tier of labor? In which case, nobody will want to do the basic level of work.
Exactly.
Like, someone's got to... Like, there's certain things we haven't automated yet. And that means low-skill labor will be like, I'd rather not do it.
Yeah.
And someone's response to me was that I was wrong because people would then become entrepreneurs. I'm like, no. They would take that money and use it as an investment in something they want to do. And then we'd have 50,000 people getting guitar lessons.
Yeah.
For real.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. I think we're about to wrap it up. We went a little long. We went half an hour longer today, but we did it because we love you.
Yes.
And I'm sorry we couldn't get to every super chat. It just
truth.
tends to happen because we get too much love. But I do appreciate it. Make sure you check out the Harumph I Say t-shirts in the description below.
Yes.
It is me. It's an awesome graphic. I've got a pipe with bubbles coming out of it.
Well, they'll see it, right?
You will see it once we sign off.
Yeah.
And then in the link in the description below, you can click that, go to the store, pick up your own Harumph I Say t-shirt.
Oh, you can see it. You just scroll down a little bit. It's there now. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool. You can see it.
Awesome.
The link or the...
No, the actual shirt.
Image.
Oh, it's
shows.
on the YouTube.
Yeah, now you can see it.
Oh, that's right. I linked the store onto the YouTube.
Yeah, it looks good.
So all you got to do is look under the video player, and there it is, the Harumph I Say shirt. You click that thing, you buy that thing, and then you got the coolest t-shirt in all the land.
Yes.
And soon to come, a Soy Jesus or Adam Krigler, whatever the graphic is.
Something.
A Lydia, Knight Bearer of Burdens or whatever. I have no idea. I have no idea.
It'll
Well,
be a
they're
surprise.
coming.
Yeah.
We're going to have them all. Thanks for hanging out, everybody, and we will see you all tomorrow at 8 p.m.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, guys.